Conspiracy restreaming us. Also, Roger Hanson and DK Conspiracy restreaming us tonight. Thanks, everybody, for help and getting us out everywhere that we go. So what do you got for us tonight, Jack?
We're going to take a bit of a deep dive through some things that Richard Dolan had to say this week and how it leads us back into sort of a re-examination of the Type 3 society conspiracy and how that might be what's going on the planet. That's our main topic tonight, but we've got a lot of cyber prophecy to cover and a lot of little bit of cryptid corner stuff.
Cool.
So,
yeah, I like Dolan. Dolan has a lot of great information.
Yes, he does. He's, out of all of the ufologists out there, he's always been very sober, serious, and yet very open-minded, investigator, and he's one of my favorite. So
I like how he takes a look at it from a historian point of view. All right.
Right.
And
right.
that's his background anyways. So if anybody out there, is listening, do check out Richard Dolan. Richard Dolan has a YouTube channel and all that. He's got great material about UFOs to any other kind of like conspiracy type stuff. You'll see him as a guest on a lot of different shows. Maybe one day we'll have him as a guest.
I would love to have Richard on. That would be fantastic. I might be able to get Nick Pope on. Just
Nick would be awesome to have too.
Yeah, just because I appeared on his TV show, so he might
hit him up.
He might pay back the favor. So
that'd be really nice. That'd be a first for me to have him.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. And what a knowledgeable guy too.
Yep,
so.
He sure is. We got about 30 seconds, Jack, and I'm going to turn it over to you. Alrighty, here's your countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you are live and on the radio side with Paranormal Intelligence Agency Radio right now.
Welcome back, everybody, to Paranormal Intelligence Agency Radio Live. I'm your host, Jack Carey, and we are broadcasting from 300 feet deep in an abandoned nuclear missile silo somewhere undisclosed in the wastelands of the Dakota Territories. And I am joined, as always, by the paranormal crime fighting duo Daisy and the Sundance Kid are here in the silo tonight working security. And high above us, roving in bands are mutant, zombie, Amish people. They have eaten their horses and now they are getting around in chupacabra drawn carriages. It is a horrific scene and they are glowing radioactive. So be on the lookout for the zombie Amish out there. They do not stand a chance with Daisy and the Sundance Kid here in the silo. And it's been one of those crazy sort of weeks on the Great Space Roller Coaster, as I like to refer to it. Growing up, it was my favorite show, the Great Space Roller Coaster. I mention it once in a while here, but what a suiting metaphor or model, if you will, for life in general on this planet and in this reality stream as we see it. And Tonight we've got some interesting paranormal in the news. We've got some cyber prophecy, and our main topic really came about, sort of evolved this week because I came across a YouTube video put out by Richard Dolan this week, the renowned ufologist and author. And some of the things he said led me full circle back into the unified field theory of paranormal activity, and this idea that it's possible that you could take the totality of UFO / alien / paranormal activity and plug it into the theoretical model that humanity and Earth is interacting with a Type 3 civilization that actually seeded it. And when you do that, you begin to develop, if you will. I kind of like to say that we're developing theoretical pieces of the puzzle to move around and to plug into different places. And this leads us into very interesting avenues of thinking and into advanced paranormal theory, which is really the goal of the show here at the PIA, and has always been the goal of the PIA, to develop new and exotic and interesting theories, models, if you will, to sort of fit our ever evolving information stream concerning paranormal activity. And so this week has been an interesting week because diving into paranormal in the news and the paranormal news headlines really kind of led into an unexpected direction. And it reminded me that really, when it comes to things like the complexity of considering the idea of interacting with a Type 3 civilization on the Kardashev scale, and I'll explain in deeper detail what that means as we go. But when you begin to entertain that notion, it fits a lot of new information that's coming out. And Dolan this week, he was sort of reminiscing and taking the idea, even though he didn't come right out and say it, but sort of taking the idea that let's look at this really from more of a macro viewpoint. And I think that's a valuable thing. I like to do it often. I think that, many times on the show, we sort of zoom in to a paranormal mystery of some kind, and we examine it in detail. And I'm big on tracing the provenance or the chain of custody for any given paranormal phenomenon as it was reported from a historical viewpoint up until present day times. And, Dolan has very much that same approach when it comes to ufology. And he was basically, saying out loud, thinking out loud, that let's just take it on the premise that all of it is true. And by all of it, he was referring to some new information that has come out from Ross Coulthart, the UFO journalist over at News Nation. And, Coulthart came out this week and said he had a number of, we don't know how many, but more than one insider telling him that there is an operational alien base somewhere in Arizona, and that this is known to the U.S. government. And this isn't like like we've heard from various sources in the ufology circles over the years, that there are joint human / and alien bases on the planet, that they're working together. Certain factions of this globalist cabal seem to be working with aliens at different facilities, underground bases, if you will, around the world. But no, he's basically saying that this is a alien only, off limits to humans completely type of facility that's being operated and that is known to the US government, and that some sort of deal, if you will, has been made for them to be able to be there without anybody, bringing it up to the population that it's occurring. It's very interesting. We've had, insiders in the past tell us that there are alien bases in various parts of the world. Pat Price, the remote viewer that was really the superstar of the CIA Stargate remote viewing program. And no matter what you think of remote viewing, a lot of what they've been able to achieve has been highly accurate a number of times. And Pat Price stated that he viewed 4 separate alien bases around the planet. And, one of those was actually Mount Hayes in Alaska, in the Alaskan Triangle, a place where there's been over 16,000 missing people over a 30-year period that have vanished without a trace. So, but Dolan was saying, let's take this from the viewpoint that all of that is real, that the bases are there. Okay, let's take it on premise that they're there. And what does that mean when we plug that into the overall puzzle of all of these other interesting pieces that we have to work with? Because when you have an alien only base, that implies some type of localized industry, because something had to build the base and it wasn't humans. It requires things like powering the base, supplying the base, a whole plethora of logistical problems come with the operation of a base. And it appears as though these bases, if they're there, and there's ever indication that they are in fact there, are utilizing some kind of cloaking technology which allows them to basically be invisible at those locations. So what does that imply? Because you're talking about a species that had to have traveled here from either another dimension or another planetary system of some kind, but then built facilities here to remain localized. And for how long? Well, there's indications going way back into human prehistory. Does that indicate that these creatures had some sort of involvement in our evolution and in our creation? That's plugs into the overall theory, but we're going to get into that pretty deeply tonight and try to look at it from the 30,000-foot viewpoint of what does that mean from a philosophical level for humanity, an ontological level coming from humanity. And Cliff High is sort of in the same boat that I'm in that, well, quite a few months ago, if not a few years ago, it became obvious to a number of us that relocation would be an extremely wise thing to undertake at that time. It was, Cliff Cliff High I'm referring to over at the WebBot has relocated to an undisclosed location, and in an area that is, largely unpopulated. And I did roughly the same thing. There is no crime, so to speak, as it exists in modern day society anywhere near my location. I think that the last crime report that happened to make its way out was somebody stealing so and so's mule and wouldn't give it back. It was something of that of that nature. And so there's many of us that have chosen to relocate to very sparsely populated areas because of this convergence of cyber prophecy, indicating a time that we are coming into right now, which is going to be filled with a lot of chaos. There's going to be a lot of twists and turns in the old great space roller coaster. And it might make a great number of people queasy on this planet. But in tonight's cyber prophecy, that's basically what the WebBot was reiterating this week, was the idea that we're quickly approaching this, what's it calls the summer of emergence, which is the emergence of all of these, events and the so-called event stream beginning to manifest that were predicted many years ago. And the mechanism by which it's able to predict that is the mechanism of neuro-linguistic data analysis. Make a long story short, and to keep this on the 30,000 foot view that I'm trying to tonight and not get too bogged down in the the fascinating, albeit, but the minutia or the details can be quite time consuming. So, but basically think of it like this. There were certain algorithms designed that were able to analyze language trends worldwide and at any given moment in time. And it's in those language trends that it was discovered that the human species is actually psychic on a basic level. That yes, in fact, we have a shared human subconscious on some sort of field. We are all interconnected by this field, and we are all rendered psychic through that field. In other words, the human species appears to be psychic on a species-wide level, and it can pick up when certain things are about to take place before they take place. And that can be seen in their language patterns before the event occurs. That's really, in a nutshell, how it works. And it works amazingly well. And now it's been married with things like ancient prophecy and Vedic astrology and artificial intelligence and things like that. So, but it's through the cyber prophecies that led many of us to believe that this summer of emergence and this period of chaos that we're going to go through would be wise to relocate to places that aren't like big cities. Probably not a good idea. And there's a lot of reasoning behind that. And one of those reasonings is the sheer ontological shock that's about to take place within our society. I've spoken many times about what ontological shock is, but the best way to describe that is the universe reaching down and grabbing the security blanket out of the hands of humanity forever and forcing us to view reality as it is, not as this illusion that we find ourselves in right now. In fact, our entire concept, idea, and operation within time itself, our ideas, our basic understanding of time is going to change radically very, very soon. And the powers that be understand this, and they are scrambling desperately to maintain control of what must appear to them to be a sinking ship at this stage. The old control structures are sort of falling away every single day now as we move forward. And it's sort of a convergence of cyber prophecy with what Richard Dolan was saying this week that led me into this whole line of thinking. But we do have a little bit of actual paranormal headlines in the news that are worth mentioning here. And chief among those is this second hit piece by the Wall Street Journal. It was something discussed by Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp again this week. And, you know, it's a stark reminder. If you haven't seen it, it's another hit piece actually attacking people this time instead of just ufology, attacking whistleblowers. It's clearly a full frontal assault by the dark, nefarious powers that be behind the scenes that are controlling the back engineered alien technology and have no intention of sharing it with humanity. Rather, they have every intention of attempting to continue to enslave the rest of us with that technology. This is a stark reminder that they still control mass media. I guess the one thing that we can find in that that's encouraging is that mass media by the day is losing its ability to sway the masses. By the day, mass media is dying, and it's like the last most powerful tool that these dark forces possess. We're going to be talking about those dark forces tonight because that kind of features in prominently into this whole model of this type 3 civilization, because there's every indication coming out of the webbot that the human species has an enemy on this planet. It has agents placed in very, very strategic places of power all around the world, and it really is sort of seeking the destruction and depopulation of the planet within the next 2 generations. So that force exists. It's here on the planet, and we're fighting it every single day. How does that interplay with the idea that the Earth is actually owned by and is being farmed by a type 3 civilization? That's a question that we will also get to. And another interesting headline, this one made me laugh. I have mentioned on some previous broadcasts that a number of metal spheres, I'll call them metal for lack of a better term, but a number of spheres have been recovered around the world. Right now, probably the most well-known is the one that was recovered in Colombia, and it's actually being housed in a vault in Mexico City, and it is being studied by scientists, but it's not the only one that's been recovered. There have been others, and these spheres landed in various fields around the world. They killed all the vegetation around them, and they rendered the soil hydrophobic. So the soil will no longer absorb water in those areas. And, they've been able to x-ray them. They appear to be full of some kind of fiber optic cabling going to some unknown components. No, they don't know what the components do, but these things were seen to float, to hover, to have no visible means of propulsion, no sound, no anything. They appeared to the observers who were observing them at the time that they were recovered to be something alien. something they have never seen before, would think humans would build. And these spheres landed, and people were able to pick them up. And, it's long been prophesied by the Webbot that some alien technology would be recovered by normal people around the world, and that would become part of overall disclosure. Well, here is a headline where apparently the men in black got caught with their pants down. That is so fun. So they have this sphere, and it's locked up in this vault, and it's at a research institute in Mexico City with some scientists studying it. And here comes a group of guys dressed perfectly as policemen who attempt to seize the sphere, only to get caught by other policemen. And it turns out that these guys aren't cops at all. They're probable government agents. And it appears they showed up there to try to pull off another one of these Men in Black episodes where another piece of invaluable smoking gun evidence would have just disappeared. But no, they got caught this time. I find that to be hilarious and probably quite embarrassing. And who knows where that will lead us as far as tracing the origins of these men and where they came from and what their intentions were with the sphere. But I think we all can guess who they were and who they worked for. So that's a fascinating headline that's out there. And, when we come back, we do have an interesting report that came in to Cryptid Corner this week. We will cover that. Gives us another little glimpse into the Bigfoot species, the Sasquatch species, and their behavior patterns. So for that, it is an interesting encounter. And then after that, we're going to delve head deep into this whole idea that basically my brain took me down a line of thinking after listening to Dolan, and we're going to kind of see and how and why a lot of these different pieces of the puzzle that I've been discussing over the past few weeks would fit together into a theoretical whole. Is it the absolute truth? I don't know. But what we are attempting to do are identify patterns, fashion puzzle pieces out of those patterns, and see how those pieces fit together to get us a glimpse of the bigger picture of what's happening with paranormal activity all around the planet. And we'll get right back to that after our break.
Really, Jack? Amish? Zombie Amish? That's a first. I love it though, but wow. I'm like, nah, yeah. Well, yeah, that's a real good one, Jack. I like that.
Thanks. Yep.
Like,
they're out there.
They're everywhere. Wagons being pulled by chupacabra.
It is a horrific scene. I kid you not.
I'm waiting for Dogman to start going into like these riots and that just to get flea soap. All right, I was like, I was waiting for something like that, but no, zombie Amish. Okay.
Well, I am in the Dakota territories after all.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, sure, Jack.
We got quite a Amish community working around here.
I'm from southwestern Pennsylvania. There were Amish and Mennonite all around. Yeah. In fact, I was born and raised Mennonite coming up as a kid.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I even got that graphic picture in my head how this was gonna look. I'm like, okay, well, some pretty big chupacabras, man.
They are, man. They're growing them big in South Texas. They're migrating.
Yeah. Also, they're importing them up to your place from here, right?
That's right. They're migrating in the it's global warming. The heat's bringing them north.
That's why we keep seeing Bigfoot on Facebook and all these other TikTok and all these other places. He's got to get away from all that. So he's being a creator now.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think of the ones I sent you? I mean, some of them are pretty funny.
Oh, they're great. And, I'm reminded, like, Corbell and Knapp are reminding everybody, like, they're having to trace, like the chain of custody. When they get a UFO video, if they can't trace the chain of custody right back to somebody that would have been in a position to have access to an actual UAP video, they just discard it anymore because AI is just killing it.
Yeah, it's killing it now. I mean, yeah. And to think, that's just the common stuff right now. To think what the government actually has.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're working with next generation kind of artificial intelligence.
Yeah,
They've had this kind of
probably
forever.
they're like the Jets. They're on like 7 and 8 version right now.
Right. So, but it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Now we got quantum computing chips that are about to alter our entire understanding of reality. So that's kind of cool. But
yeah. Wonder what Nance has for us tonight.
I don't know. I don't know what she's doing over there. Hopefully another conspiracy. She tends to have a lot of interesting conspiracy topics. So
I like it when she gets into the other stuff too. She doesn't, and she used to do a lot more UFO and also psychic stuff there early on, but she's kind of gotten away from that. But that's fine, that these current event type stuff and what people want to hear. We've got about 30 seconds, and everybody wants to be up to date and know what's going on, not what has already happened.
Right.
Like a decade ago or longer.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of those old conspiracies.
Here's your countdown, Jack. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you are live and on the radio side right now.
Welcome back, everybody, to Paranormal Intelligence Agency Radio. I'm your host, Jack Carey, your tour guide to the Twilight Zone. And tonight we're talking about big things. We're trying to take a step back. We're trying to zoom out on this overall picture and to see if that can gain us a little bit better view of what might be occurring in totality when we're talking about paranormal activity, ufology, cryptid animals, etc. I did say that we had a little bit of information in Cryptid Corner, and Cryptid Corner is interesting because it comes to us in the form of an actual Sasquatch encounter from a gentleman that was camping in remote Alaska. Oh, he camped apparently about 50 yards from his truck. Took his 9mm with him, but left his 702 rifle in the truck, which is not a good idea in Alaska. And, as night fell, he suffered what we call the cone of silence. Remember the cone of silence in paranormal intelligence world, because what ends up happening a lot of times to people in paranormal situations is everything gets dead quiet. Like literally, you can drop a pin and hear it, you know. And this happens a lot in the woods with Bigfoot encounters, and all of a sudden a relatively noisy forest became dead quiet. The cone of silence fell, and he got a very, very eerie feeling. Heard a slight noise he described as really coming from what he guessed from inside a tent to be around 20 feet away or so. And that was preceded or followed by a yell slash roar slash scream that he said had to have an enormous diaphragm behind it. It was so powerful that the eyewitness claims to, or ear witness in this case, claims that it bruised his organs. The sound waves coming from this roar were so powerful that it literally jarred the organs in his body and hurt him in that way. That's very interesting. He didn't know what to do with his little 9mm gun sitting in the tent. He didn't move out of the tent, but he did have his truck's panic button on the key fob. He hit that button. He said it took a minute, a few tries before the truck actually went into panic mode and set off the alarm. You know how that goes. And all of a sudden he heard a enormous crashing of glass and metal, and you know, it sounded like a car wreck outside of his tent, followed by complete silence. Well, he stayed in his tent for hours in silence until he got up enough, you know, guts to walk outside the tent, and then to make his way over to his truck right at daylight, only to discover that an enormous boulder had been picked up and literally jammed through the windshield, half of it rusting still on the hood of the car, completely demolished this gentleman's truck. And around the truck, he discovered what he described as being footprints that were 4 to 6 inches larger than his size 12 footprint, and he said 7 or 8 inch footprints. So this thing had a baby with it, and apparently he came across or camped in a breeding site, and that's what ends up happening when you come across a female Sasquatch with a baby who doesn't want you in the area. So beware out there, campers. They can pick up a boulder and literally put it right through your windshield. And try explaining that one to your insurance company. Can you get me some Sasquatch insurance? Hey, that might actually be a money-making thing. Let's start selling Sasquatch abduction insurance. I like that idea. We'll raise some good funds. But Cryptid Corner that's what we have for tonight. I was going to get into another area of Cryptid Corner that has to do with the so-called hitchhiker effect, but I think tonight's discussion will sort of lead us into that direction. And so basically, let me present it to you like this as a working theory. Let's say that the Earth is, as I like to call it, a paranormal planet. Let's say that our planet has a crystalline structure underneath its topography, which is somewhat unique and which can create enormous amounts of electromagnetic field energy. Let's say a planet like that was actually found, discovered through whatever mechanism and or means by a type 3 civilization. And what is a type 3 civilization on the Kardashev scale? Well, there was a scientist named Nicholas Kardashev, and he came up with the idea that civilizations, their advancement could be judged by how much power they consume, because how much power you consume denotes how much technology you have, and the higher the technology, the more power it would require to power. We're seeing that right now with our own AI and development and the building of data centers, and the idea, or the fact that they require vast amounts of energy in order to power them. It's that idea. And that idea coincides with theories put out by a number of different physicists, but really the crux of it is that by now, in the history of our galaxy, if you take even the lowest calculations from Fermi's paradox and from the Drake equation, which are both used to determine the number of advanced civilizations that could have occurred in our galaxy by now, if you take the lowest number possible, and that's before the discovery of so-called dark oxygen, which I discussed.
Give it a second. We are having some issues at the moment. I do not know what happened. It looks like Dreagus Production may have fell off for a quick second. I'm not quite sure. Let me go find out in D-Live real quick. Yeah, that's what it seems to be. I'm doing this from Kick right now. Sending a message. Find out real quick. There we go.
It's that advanced. Artificial intelligence on a scale that our artificial intelligence can't even conceive of. Let's then plug in the idea that the vast majority of UFO type craft are probably drone type von Neumann probe like craft that have this advanced artificial intelligence on board them that makes it almost sentient. Is it conscious? I don't know, but many people have described UFO craft as behaving like a biological creature in some fashion, and I urge you to consider the idea of a technology so advanced that it can operate, look, feel, everything like a real biological living creature, but in fact is a manufactured technology. That kind of advancement, right? And it farmed the earth with what ends up being humanity. And it does this with planetary systems throughout the galaxy time and again, only to come back at a certain point in time, utilizing these artificially intelligent craft that we call UFOs to monitor every little thing on all of these planets that are being farmed. And I mean everything down to the molecular or atomic scale. Plug in the cattle mutilation phenomenon. Plug in the unexplained animal death phenomenon. Plug in the idea that these artificially intelligent craft are programmed to track, monitor, and control our food supplies, and may have detected some kind of contamination occurring within the beef supply, and are monitoring and tracking that contamination because it's feeding its prized herd, which is really humanity. Imagine then tracking that throughout an entire ecological system, because that's exactly what the phenomenon did. It went from cattle to cats to birds to all kinds of animals. And it went to cats. I explain all of this in my book, Paranormal Planet, because cats consume. The house cat is the most advanced predator in North America. It has killed countless species of birds to extinction, the common house cat. And birds travel worldwide, and with them, they can pick up the same contamination that occurred within our food supply and the beef. That's just an example. We're going to go back to the 30,000 foot view of all of this. Imagine those craft being so advanced that they picked up contamination within the human food supply and began to track that contamination, and that we're finding remnants of it tracking that. Is right. Think of it like that the human species has been carefully evolved within a very carefully constructed, albeit illusory, reality for a very specific purpose and ends, which is only now known to the Type 3 civilization, which farmed life on this planet to begin with. Now plug in all of that conspiracy ufology theories like the gray aliens and the mantis overlords and the reptilians and the Anunnaki and the Martian civilization that existed within this planetary system of ours, right? Our little solar system within the galaxy. All of those are tiny little pieces of a puzzle that can fit underneath very comfortably the umbrella of interaction with a true Type 3 civilization. In other words, the civilizations that existed in ancient times, like on the surface of Mars, and the Anunnaki who existed on a neighboring planet that was destroyed, etc. All of that can be explained because we can explain it through the Type 3 civilization having farmed those planets as well. They developed advanced civilizations who went to war with one another. All of that can still be contained underneath the umbrella within the overall circle, if you will, of us interacting with a Type 3 civilization. And it was early, I won't say early, but it wasn't very long after I began investigating the vast array of paranormal activity all taking place within a small geographic area in south central Colorado that I began to realize that there had to be a singular source for all of that activity. That there was no way to explain the fact that, you know, in this area, in this little town in south central Colorado, you had a bunch of alien abductions, and the very next day, just 10 miles away, half the town sees a Bigfoot, and then, you know, somebody sees a pterodactyl, and then somebody gets a time slip type of event occurring in the woods. And it just, like, it was absolutely insane. It's called the Disneyland of the paranormal for a reason. And so I began to suspect there had to be a singular source for that activity. And what I discovered in the unified field theory of paranormal activity is a probable dual source. And you can take the totality of ufology, all of the little things contained within ufology, the many little mysteries that make up ufology, like alien abduction, like cattle mutilation, UFO sightings themselves, contactees, you name it. You can take the totality of that, and it fits perfectly into the idea that what we're interacting with is something far more advanced, bigger, and greater than what we are just getting little glimpses of. And what we're getting little glimpses of are the gray aliens. We're getting little glimpses of their bosses, which are these mantis-like beings. But I would argue that behind the mantis-like beings is another intelligence. And the reason for that is because there was a very smart scientist named von Neumann who came up with the idea that any advanced intelligence, especially, you know, advanced enough to create really high-tech technology, is going to put a shield between it and any other possible life forms as it progresses and colonizes throughout any given space throughout the universe. It would only be wise to do so. Why would you put your own beings at risk going out to various planets only to come across a vicious alien predator of some kind that just eats them alive, when you can create drone craft that would encounter that vicious alien creature and destroy it for you so that colonization could continue? That's the idea that we're thinking about here. So consider the Earth as one of these farmed planets. The human species is a prized herd that's being farmed into a type 3 civilization, which has already colonized the entire galaxy. The craft that are here on the planet now are here to safeguard the planet from things like meteors, etc., from things like us destroying ourselves with nuclear weapons, which is why they're obsessed, these craft, with our nuclear technology and shut our missiles down at will, etc., which would be the reason why they monitor our food supply, which would be the reason why some of these constructed beings, like the little biological robots we call Greys, are conducting ongoing evolutionary genetic experiments on the herd. You see what I'm getting at? That this could ultimately be the real reason for UFO secrecy. Could it be that certain powers that be, and I mentioned this idea that there is a nefarious force on this planet that appears to have full knowledge of interaction with non-human intelligence and is attempting to use that behind the backs of the rest of humanity in an attempt to gain control over fellow humans. That's the battle that we're facing and that we fight. And yeah, there's good and evil that's occurring on this planet, but look at it from this much weirder, much higher macro viewpoint. And we begin to see a whole lot of different angles that we can work with and play with. What I discovered, I believe, is a dual mechanism of paranormal activity. And the second mechanism has to do with the crystalline structure of our planet and the idea that these huge quartz crystal deposits can literally open interdimensional doorways. That allows for interaction between life forms existing on different dimensions, this and other alien dimensions. And when that momentary interaction occurs, we describe it as paranormal in nature. If you plug any and all known paranormal activity into that model of duality, then all of it begins to make sense. And there is a mountain of evidence to suggest that that's exactly what's occurring on this planet. So not only do we have interaction going on with this type 3 civilization, which has farmed us and which is farming this planet, right? And untold numbers of other planets with life forms on them. And who knows, maybe they look human too. Maybe this is a natural progression in the farming method of this artificially, and maybe it's even an artificial intelligence which is doing it. Imagine that. How insane would that be if we discovered that the Type 3 civilization, which now has colonized the entire galaxy and which is farming our planet, including us, is actually an artificially intelligent being of some kind that was created by another life form? That's the kind of viewpoint that we need to begin to entertain and to look at and plug all of the various pieces of this puzzle into. I mentioned the crystalline structure of the Earth, the idea that there are vast quartz crystal deposits. These are areas of nonstop paranormal activity, and all of that in great detail has been chronicled in my book, The Devil's Key. And that's available on Amazon for people that are interested in the actual detailed mechanisms, the science behind and how and why these quartz crystal deposits would work in such a way as to open an interdimensional doorway that allows for paranormal activity. But going back to the Type 3 conspiracy, is it possible that, you know, as Nick Pope put it in his leaked conversation on Reddit, that the UFO mystery holds a, quote, truth too terrible to be told? Is that the truth that's too terrible to be told? I don't know. But we need to begin to ask ourselves the question as we come across each one of these different puzzle pieces. Does that fit what Pope was saying to us? Does that puzzle piece, as we examine it in totality with the rest of the pieces, begin to present a picture which to us looks like a truth too terrible to be told? Because when we get to that point, and it begins to make us really uncomfortable about what we're seeing, we're probably on to the truth at that stage. Because the truth is an uncomfortable place to be in. But in the end, it is the truth. And it's what we seek here on the PIA live radio show. Be sure and join us next week, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central. We will be exploring yet again another one of these crazy paranormal mysteries. And like I say, you know, at some point, as we go down each one of these rabbit holes, they all tend to sort of run into each other in various points and places. And stay with us. We have Vixen's Vault up next. The talented and wonderful Nancy Planeta will be hosting, and you won't want to miss it. I'll see you next week, guys.
All right, Jack, I don't know if we're going to get cut off since it's just me and you, but I know we started up a little early. That's probably what it's doing.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
All right, so, yeah. But if we get cut off, just wait a minute and come on over to Vixen's Vault. I'm going to get that set up, and probably I'm going to try to set that up about another 2 minutes.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Cool.
So
I'll be listening. I gotta get something to eat, but if I can join in, I will.
I was eating earlier, and the video stream had cut out like about 15 minutes ago, and then I got it back up. But the audio side's great. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be posting out the audio and that, and I'll probably take down the rest of the encore for the raw stream tonight on some platforms, not all, just to give everybody an idea what's going on.
Sure.
Okay, it looks like it's just because it's just me and you. I don't know if they're going to cut us off. We're already a little over our time, but yeah. But thanks,
cool.
and I'll see you on Vixen's Vault, or if I don't get to see you then, I will get to see you on Friday.
All right, sounds perfect, sir.
All right.
I'll be waiting for that show, and I'll talk to you before then. Like, are you just going to send me another link here?
I'll send you another link in. I'll send it to you on your Facebook.
All okay, right? Perfect.
All
perfect.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
No problem. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
I'll take. I'll see you in a little bit then. All right.
Okay.
Bye. Let's get Vixen's Vault up and running. Get her. Sorry, folks. I did have a little crash during the stream. I am going to get us up and running over on Vixen's Vault here in just a minute. Where's... There we go. Legion of Chaos. Here we go. Calling the group. Nancy, Roger, Jack. Get Mark Edworthy in there too. Hey, Nance.
Hey, Mark.
Get Mark Edworthy in there too.
Everything was going really good, but I did have a crash earlier, but we're good to go now, it looks like. Okay, I have a massive thunderstorm coming in. 2, I had surgery yesterday morning.
Oh my God! Why didn't you tell me? Or did you?
I told you I was having it, but I thought I'd be okay. But I'm still really having issues. But I'm gonna try to stick it out because I know I didn't give you a heads up.
Yeah.
So
if all else fails, I'm sure that DK, Roger, and me, and the rest of us can work on through something. You know.
I was gonna say, do you mind trying to do that? Only because I am not.
Hey.
I am
not. Sorry. Hey, Nancy. What did you say? You haven't got stuff sorted, sort of thing?
Yeah, no, I had surgery on my back yesterday. So
shit.
I'm like, yeah, well, I'm kind of not.
The other week, like 2 weeks ago, who was it that was running it? Jack? When you just got everyone to like bring up their scariest conspiracies, that worked quite well for the whole show.
Okay.
So yeah, we can. Yeah, we've definitely got your back, eh? No problems.
I'm looking for Vicky. I don't see Vicky here at all. Where'd she go?
She should be on. She texted me earlier. I didn't text her back because I'm like literally.
Shit, we got like a minute. All right, I'll be back in a sec.
I don't think
even Roger under that R pad.
Yeah, I don't see her.
I don't know how
I'm here.
She left the group, I guess. Anyways, here's your countdown: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And Nancy, you were live and on the radio side right now.
Hello, guys, and welcome to the Vixen's Vault. Today's date is June the 25th, 2025. I am not in my normal frame of mind tonight. So, guys, if I check out a little bit early, it's because I had surgery yesterday morning and I'm probably not in the best condition to be doing this tonight. Just going to put it that way. But I'd like to welcome everybody to the show. It's been a heck of a week, as you all probably well know. Had some fun and interesting circumstances occur this week in the news, and I'm sure the entire world is pretty well aware of, the fact that, well, let's see. I think last week when we were talking Israel, no, it was actually this week. It was this weekend. Israel sent their jets into Iran and bombed Tehran pretty badly, and Tehran responded by lobbing some missiles at Iran or at Israel, and they hit their mark. And of course, the only thing the Western press covers is the missiles hitting Israel. They did not cover the fact that Israel hit first. And Trump...
did they not? I don't watch mainstream... Yeah, I don't watch mainstream media myself, so I get all my information online. And I was finding everything that was showing what actually happened. Did the mainstream media not even say Israel did it first for no reason? That's right.
I was going to say,
here's the words they used. They keep saying it's a preemptive strike. And then when Iran did anything back, all the media was saying, and I kept noticing this, it was like in response to a retaliatory strike.
It wasn't
so
retaliatory.
They were actually acknowledging that it was in response, but they weren't covering the fact that Israel did anything.
Over here?
That's kind of weird.
I mean, Vicky, I'm sure you've been watching the news. Jack, I'm sure you've been watching the news. Roger, did you guys see anything that told you about the Israeli airstrike? Because they sent jets to Tehran and bombed the snot out of Tehran. That's why Iran responded with missiles.
Yeah. Does no one know that? But I'm serious. Does no one actually know that?
No.
I didn't realize.
This is what I'm trying to tell you. Western press, especially the United States, because the United States there's a lot of politicians, there's a lot of companies that are in Israel's pocket in this country. And they do not want to make Israel look bad. But a lot of us, I mean, the Anons, actually MAGA, knows Israel is not good.
Well, the last thing Trump has said, that was a little bit crazy.
But it's funny because when that bombing occurred, I said to everybody, y'all need to calm the hell down. He just pulled a Syria. And they're like, what do you mean he pulled a Syria? I was like, well, okay, when Syria did the chemical weapons, I said, what did he do? He dropped pamphlets all over Syria 3 days ahead of time to get the hell out of these locations, and then did what we call precision bombing. I said, and nobody got hurt because everybody was evacuated.
Yeah,
and some of those buildings were also...
Yeah. No, but Iran's response to America was almost exactly the same. They said they were going to bomb some particular military base, but they gave them 24 hours or 48 hours notice or something so that they could evacuate all the personnel, and then they just bombed that military base. So Iran did exactly the same thing that America did. Yeah, Trump has come out recently. This was in journalists, the press. And what was, I can't even say what Trump said. It's what I got in trouble for last week.
No, he told everybody to pretty much grow the F up.
He said they don't know what the F they are doing.
F and doing. Well, here's the thing, because again, and I said, guys, he warned Iran to evacuate those nuclear sites. Number one, I said, because China was in and out of there multiple times, moving stuff. China, of course, it was very well organized, very well timed. They got people out, they got equipment out. I was like, we know Iran has backup sites. I mean, we're not idiots, but we're not trying to.
The thing is, Iran hasn't got a nuclear weapons program. They have a nuclear energy program.
They do.
No. Oh no.
Even I would say they do.
I found the best video. I found the best video ever. No, I found the best video ever the other day. It's about 15 minutes long though. But it's a guy who goes through the whole timeline of Iran complying with every single aspect of every agreement that they've been part of. And then when the US left some group, it was when the US left some group or left the talks, they said if the US doesn't come back, we're going to increase this. If the US doesn't come back, we're going to increase this. And that is the only reason Iran kept increasing anything that they've been doing. And it was all nuclear energy. Yes, fully.
No, they just bought a bunch of uranium from Russia just a few months ago. They 100% told them they were enriching their weapons. I mean, it's you've got to understand. It's not.
Said the mainstream media, who won't even tell you that Israel bombed Iran.
This was actually Russian media. This was Russian media. This was not mainstream. This was Russian.
I thought Iran had lots of uranium itself anyway. Why does it need to import any more?
Because they're using some of the uranium to power, and they're running Bitcoin mines like nobody's freaking business over there. I mean, literally, the people of Iran. I told you, I know somebody in Iran. And he'll tell you point blank, they don't have power. The citizens don't have power. It's worse than Puerto Rico and Iran. Why? Because all the energy they have, they're using to Bitcoin mine. So
don't get me wrong. The last coup and the regime change is like, yeah, I've heard that did kind of wreck it, and it changed it from more of a westernized culture to a Muslim culture. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I've heard that, but
they did.
Yeah, I know, but you need to take into context the fact that Netanyahu has been saying since 1992 that Iran is weeks away from making nuclear weapons.
Yes, but here's the thing, and here's where I need to complete what I started out with, because this is what I was trying to get to. What Trump did, Trump was basically, I don't know if I can say this or not, but I got to say it because it's the only way to say it. He was cock blocking Netanyahu by precision bombing. You know why? Because it took away Netanyahu's excuse to just go in there and carpet bomb the snot out of Iran, which he'd been doing. He was bombing Iran.
I fully agree with that.
Let me finish, DK. Let me finish. He literally when Trump did that, he took away any excuse Netanyahu had to go back in. And Netanyahu did not like that at all.
And still went back in.
And then, of course, again, over here, the only thing that got reported was that Iran lobbed 2 missiles at Israel. It didn't say, again, that Israel started it. Yeah. But that's when Trump...
Did you guys watch the State of the Union the other night? That wasn't any of that. Trump got on national television and said thank you to Netanyahu for his assistance in this effort. So it was basically a preemptive strike planned by both Netanyahu and Trump to do the attack.
Have you not seen the one where he's standing on the lawn?
I mean, he openly said it. He said, thank you for your participation. So
that was before Israel actually attacked, before they both actually attacked each other. There was 12 hours. There was 12 hours to the ceasefire. Right. And instead of ramping things down, in that first hour, and this is what Trump said, in that first hour, they dropped more bombs than they had. In that first hour, and the ramp down to a ceasefire, in that first hour, Israel dropped lots. Iran fired 1 missile that didn't even make it to a target or anything.
Yeah, I know.
This is what Trump actually said. Yeah, this is what Trump actually said.
But I mean, here's the thing.
Yeah, but he's still pissed off with both countries.
Right.
And he's still got so much of like the lobbyists in his ear saying Israel good, Iran bad. But now he's like he can't but now he can't. But now he can't ignore this. No, he still has.
Here's the thing.
But now he can't ignore this. It's like he's just gone and done the worst thing.
Shush. He cannot, Trump cannot, listen, he can't come out publicly in a country full of Jewish Americans and say, okay, see, I need Bibi out of power, so I'm just going to let Bibi slit his own throat. Because what he has done is he has set Bibi up to slit his own throat. And he did it.
Yeah.
That's why he's
fully. I know. It's amazingly well played. Yeah.
The guy is a master chess player. He knows what the hell he's doing. And it's like, I keep saying, just trust him. Please just trust him. He does not like Bibi Netanyahu. He can't stand him. So just please trust him because he knows what he's doing, but it has to be handled a certain way. Because if it's not, we're going to have World War III. And if it's not
it's as if he's been playing the simp and the stooge the whole time just to let the guy finally do something that the world can't ignore. But this can't be brushed under the carpet now that he's come out and publicly said what has happened. It's like we did these strikes and we've agreed on a ceasefire in 12 hours and then they come out and just start bombing everyone straight away.
And basically, what I've said is what you're going to see, what's going to end up happening, is that you're going to see regime change in Iran, and you're going to see regime change in Israel. It's needed in both places.
Oh yeah, fully.
In Iraq.
I double checked. I was talking to Roger the other day and double checked. Israel's is meant to have their general elections in 2 years' time.
Yep. Oh, I think you might see it before that, because I think the Israeli people themselves are getting. They were already sick and tired of Bibi when October 7th happened.
Actually,
There are protests.
Bibi wants
Let me
war.
tell you, there are protests in Israel all the time, like big ones, not little ones. Big, in fact, to the point where Israel has banned all press, all journalism from attending these protests because they're large. So, I mean, Bibi's going to get taken out by his own people, and we were always told that's how it has to be. Iran has to remove their problem. Israel has to remove their problem. It's the only. We can't force.
Apparently, he only held his position by like 4 votes or something. The last time there was like a party election or something, he only held his position by 4 votes. And if he'd lost that, there was no one else that was strong enough that would have been able to stand against the opposition. And so when he got that, was basically when they started initiating things against Iran. Like almost, I think it was within a couple of days of that last vote, is when he actually started attacking Iran.
I know from the cyber end of things, I can tell you that the elections themselves in Israel were as questionable as the United States 2020 elections. And the people of Israel know it.
I don't remember that.
So it's a problem. Because they do not. Bibi has caused big problems for them. I mean, he's tried to shut down their courts. The one thing that kept that country in balance were the courts and their power. Become a tyrant.
Didn't they just all resign? Yeah, they all resigned.
Well, he took their power away. So
that's why they were. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's like I said, everybody always kind of gets the impression, because I do not like the Israeli government. They get that impression that you're somehow an anti-Semite. I am not an anti-Semite at all.
And neither is the Israel government. Neither is the Israeli government isn't Semite.
Correct. Right, it's not. By bloodline, it's not. In fact, it's not even of Judean descent. And I keep saying that. I'm like, guys, they are not Judean descent. They're not. They are Eastern European. They're not. There's no Middle Eastern blood in them.
Right.
So it's like highly problematic. And in fact, I've had people say, oh, well, they're the 13th tribe. No, the hell they're not. They would still have that bloodline in them. By some degree. So it's like, it's a problem. It's a big problem. And, I think people are somewhat becoming conscious of it. They still want to defend Israel, especially the Christians. They want to defend Israel to a point, but they're starting to see there's large problems with that defense. And again, I'm not saying that Ali Khamenei needs to be defended. I'm not saying he's a good guy, because in my book, him and Bibi are sitting in the same seat anyway. This is all
they're just the two desert religions that are the most, I don't know, impositional on their people.
Yep.
Sharia law or Noahide, Sharia law or Noahide law. Like, come on.
Oh, now they're saying something about the Abrahamic Accords. I know Trump is supposed to make there's a huge press conference scheduled for tomorrow.
That's because they're trying to include Christianity in it. This is their one world religion thing. They're trying to amalgamate those 3 religions to create the one world religion for their new world order.
No,
that's exactly what it is.
You've been reading too many fictional books, I'm afraid, DK.
This is not a fictional book. This is the symbols they're putting on the 3rd temple that they plan on building. There is already a design of it, and it has the symbols from those 3 religions on it.
Oh, well, it would be the Jewish temple, though.
Can't see how the hell you could amalgamate the 3 religions together.
No,
I know. See, this is what they're trying to do. One world government, one world religion, one world language. Yeah, this is the new world order. That's exactly what they're trying to do.
Where do people like me fit in? Because
we don't.
Going, really?
No. We don't fit in. That is their problem.
But they know that already. They know the New World Order is toast. They know that's not going to happen.
Well, and I think now again, after what we saw Trump do, and again, I think everybody kind of finally got the idea of what a smart man he is when he basically told him to F and knock it off on live TV.
Mm-hmm. But I still think he's going to be the one who is like the first one world ruler.
No, he's not.
Like it's going to get to
no.
He's too old.
Everyone's okay. You've heard of like Nasara and Jassara, right?
Now, if you said Baron, I might agree with you. But Trump knows he's too old. He knows he's aging out. He's got a job to do. He's going to do that job. Period.
Yeah, I'm actually wondering if they're going to throw Elon in next.
Elon can't go in next. Elon cannot go next. Elon is not. He is not a native-born United States citizen.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean world. I didn't mean America. I mean world.
Yeah, because they love him so much right now all around the world because of the way the press in the United States painted him. Elon.
Don't get me wrong. He got hated by both sides in a very short amount of time. It was kind of amazing. He got hated by the left, and they're burning down Tesla stores and burning down the cars and things. Yeah. And then next minute he gets hated by the right because he dissed Trump. So holy crap!
I'm telling you, and I think I told you guys that was all theater. That was very
definitely theater. Yeah, that was actually distract from Palantir coming in.
Well, not only that, but you forget Doge is still working. Elon might not be ahead of Doge, but Doge is still going. And right now they're going through Social Security, which is and the IRS, which is not a good thing.
To be honest, Doge is just an arm of Palantir, though. That's what I mean. Palantir is basically already in place.
Palantir is
looking at everything. While they're trying to slowly drip feed you about how this could be happening. This is what we want. It's already happening.
Barry, happy 37 trillion US dollars birthday. As of yesterday.
Yeah.
$37 trillion. It was announced yesterday that the US is now technically in $37 trillion of debt.
Yeah. But you know what that's showing the American people? Number one, it's being talked about because guess what? Before this, it was only like MAGA and Anons that talked about our debt. Seriously.
I do want to know something really interesting. This will kind of scare you.
Come on.
Almost every country in the world is currently in debt.
Yep.
Who are they in debt to?
The World Bank.
Yeah.
Who owns that?
The Rothschilds.
And they are where?
Yeah. Well, they're in England and Israel. And that's why they wanted into Syria. And that's why they wanted to Iran, because that's where they're not.
Right. Yep. Exactly. And Russia.
Yep.
And Russia.
Exactly. See, I love it how some people actually get it. You're actually really awesome, Vixen. You are amazing. Yeah, serious. Not everyone gets it.
I try to keep abreast of it. I mean, I try to keep myself informed and look at the reality. Like, I don't listen to the United States MSM at all because it's never accurate. I mean, the only accurate thing I think you get out of our mainstream media is like a shooting, and even then, it's just maybe the victim's name that's accurate. Everything else is like, what? Did you just like go listen to the gossip down the street or something before you wrote that article? I mean, they jump shot everything. In other words, they don't get their facts before they report. They hate Trump. Exactly. So everything is spun in a negative conservative fashion. It's spun horribly. And it's not like January 6th is the perfect example. I was there. I was in D.C. on January 6th. I was in that cold freaking park with that freaking rain waiting for Trump to show his ass up because he was late, as usual. And guess what? At the time where they said that the Capitol was getting overrun by patriots, we were all still in the park because Trump was still talking. Because he had
made no sense.
That's awesome. I did not know that, but
yeah,
that's
we're all
crazy.
still packed. There was like almost
a setup.
They said it was, what did they say? It was like 200,000 people. There were close to 1 million people there. I was there. I'm like,
they
and the setup as people went in.
To be honest, if that actually was supposed to be an insurrection with that many people, it could have easily been an insurrection. Like they can't say, "Oh, we stopped an insurrection." Instead of that tried, it was done.
I always said that.
Accident.
If we wanted to overthrow the government that day, if the people in the park, the people Trump called there, because most of us were able-bodied. There were a lot of elderly, though. I will say that because I watched the DC police harass the snot of an older woman. I wanted to punch them. But
either way,
I will tell you, if we wanted to do something that day, it would have ended very badly for the people in the Capitol. And it didn't, did it? Instead, you had a tour group of freaking people going through the damn Capitol. Literally, they were given a tour.
Yeah,
they were allowed. They got to see the magnetic door. Let them in.
There were a few things that happened, though.
How many convictions were there?
What, hon?
How
many convictions were there for that so-called
conviction?
There was over 100, isn't it?
Thousands. There were thousands.
There's over 100 people, I think.
No, hon, there were over 2,000 convictions because he pardoned like 27. He pardoned like 2,700 people. Now, of those 2,000, over 600 sat in DC jails for 3 freaking years with no charges.
Oh, it's
DC. It's DC.
What's his name?
They have their own laws.
Yep.
So they weren't prosecuted. They have their own
laws.
They
couldn't be charged with insurrection because it was not legally an insurrection. They had no.
I actually recently, like a few months ago, interviewed the most recently accused from the Jan 6 thing. Apparently, feds turned up at his door ages ago and asked him to be a witness for them, and he said no.
Yep.
And then I think it was August last year, they charged him with like assaulting police and everything.
Well, let me tell you one thing from an Anon perspective, because again, I was there as a response to my president that I voted for, who was still in office, asking us to come to the park and support him. That's why I was there. So all these people who got charged and arrested, it was bullshit because we were called there and we were peaceful. Now, I don't give any account to the idiots that went into the Capitol building because that was just stupid. But
a lot of them were Antifa. A lot of them were known Antifa.
Exactly.
Or the FBI.
Hey, we're going to take a break?
I gotta just look. Yes, we are. Guys, we'll return in just a few moments with the Vixen's Vault and probably continue this conversation. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
Hey, you got to let people talk, DK.
Yeah, sorry. I know.
My dogs are going nuts. Stop it. It's just
sorry,
thunder.
It's just a topic I've been paying a lot of attention to lately.
I know you're passionate about it, but hey, we got lots of folks in the group. Come on now.
I'll try and slow down a bit. It's okay. I'm hearing you.
I know Vicky's tried to speak up a few times. That's why.
Yeah, I know. I apologize. Sorry, Vicky. I did actually notice that once.
Well, and Nancy, it can't be good for Nancy to be yelling over stuff either.
Yeah. Well, it's different when Roger, steps on Mark, and it's back and forth thing then. But it's different,
I just don't know how long I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to go though, guys, because I'm like, again, I probably shouldn't be up right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, you just do what you can. Just let us know if you're fading.
Oh, I'm kind of letting you know.
Jack's listening in, but I don't think he's going to be able to come in. Great Conspiracy, DK, and Roger are all restreaming us tonight. In case I forgot to tell you, Thank you.
I'm recording it on
guys.
Telegram as well, but I missed the very start.
I did have a crash earlier, guys, and I did get it back up. So on certain platforms, I will be probably taking the raw down, but other platforms I'll leave it up so that they can, there wasn't a whole lot missed because I got right back in it.
Yeah, it was only down for like
that
5
happened
seconds
during
or 10
Jack's
seconds
show,
or something.
but everything on the audio side was recorded and good.
Oh, cool. Bonus. But yeah, it was only down for 5 or 10 seconds, man. I was watching when it happened.
Yeah,
it wasn't
I was
down
quick.
for long.
You know, I was like, bam, bam, bam.
To be honest, though, sometimes things just do it themselves. They'll like go down and then come back in like 5 seconds or something anyway.
No, I mean, when OBS crashed, it just completely turned off. I mean,
I get that all the time, but I stream 24/7, so it's always running. So every once in a while it'll say, like OBS is disconnected, and it'll take I don't even touch anything. And 5-10 seconds later it'll come back. OBS is reconnected. So But it does that. Yeah, it does that every so often when you're overusing it.
I abused the hell out of it.
So do I. As I said, 24/7, man. That damn thing's running 24/7, and every once in a while it cries.
Yeah. What was
Nancy,
that,
what do you
Vicky?
want to talk about next? I was asking Nancy what she wants to talk about, or the direction of the discussion.
I definitely want to get into a little bit of the crustal movements, because we've had some massive volcanic eruptions this week that everybody's ignoring because of everything going on politically. I mean, several. Philippines went off, one down in South America went off, and these are not little eruptions. These are
climate change. Climate change.
Aren't they talking about a mile-wide volcano in the middle of the Pacific that's about to go off or something?
That's actually not even the middle of the Pacific. That's right off the coast of Oregon.
Oh, is it?
It's like, oh yeah, yep. And if it goes, it's going to take
that's
a
more
lot
fun.
of it.
Excellent.
Yep. I mean,
and what about and do you know about the oarfish?
The ones that are doing the dance?
No, the oarfish are the ones that they're deep sea fish, but they wash up on shore, and it's generally a sign of some disaster,
impending
whether it be earthquake, volcano, or tsunami.
30 seconds, folks. Let's get it together.
Hey, 2 of them washed up in my country.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not usual, is it? Mm-mm.
Nope.
Freaky.
All right.
Yeah, and there was a third one somewhere else.
And here's your countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you're live and on the radio side right now.
And we are back. A little exciting before we went out to break, but we're back now. Got kind of got wrapped up in what happened on J6 and what the results of that were. And one of the things I wanted to say before I close it out was that, again, I was there. No, I did not enter the Capitol. Yes, I did get lost in DC. It sucked. But I can, because it was really cold that day. I really did. I got lost.
It's easy to do, really.
But I can tell you one thing. I was going to say, I can tell you one thing I did observe about that day, and one thing I can tell you for frickin' sure. One, we know Nancy Pelosi's laptop was taken. I can tell you there were operators in that crowd. When I say operators, I mean military special operations. No two ways about it. You can't miss those guys if you know what you're looking at.
Yeah, not just the undercover feds, like actual on-mission operatives that day.
You better believe it, and you better believe they were on a mission. You better believe they succeeded.
Yeah.
But I can tell you for a fact. Go ahead.
Saw a video of them jumping down over the rotunda and things, jumping over all the desks, carrying the laptops, fully balaclavaed up and everything. Yeah, no, I actually saw a video of it. Yeah. Yep, they were on their way out while all the people were coming in.
That's exactly it. They did what they needed to do. They got it done. And I can tell you,
got out. Yep.
It made me feel better knowing that they were there. I can also tell you there were definitively FBI operatives in the crowd, a lot of them, quite a few.
Yeah.
I can tell you there was Antifa in the crowd. How do we know Antifa was in the crowd? Well, because everybody who was there that was MAGA, representing Trump, there to support Trump, we didn't wear face masks. Why? Because that was one of the big parts of our movement. We did not submit.
Yeah.
And to the MAGA movement, the face mask was submission.
I can give you two definitive proofs that Antifa were there. One of them is I used to have a video. It was on YouTube, so it's gone. But there's a video of Antifa, like their bus or van or whatever, pulled up. They run into bushes and they change into mega clothes. And someone actually recorded them doing it. They even tell the guy to stop recording, but he must have done it live or something. So someone managed to grab it. So that was up for a wee while. So it actually showed them changing. But when Ashley Babbitt gets shot, the people standing there are all known Antifa streamers.
Yep. Well, and I can tell you, actually, there was a guy, because we were out on the lawn. So in other words, we didn't even try to go into the Capitol building. We knew better. So we were out to the area where, like, right towards the parking lot on the lawn. And it's funny because a really good friend of mine was up there too. She's funny as hell. But we're trying to text each other and nobody can really text because there's so many people there. It's interfering. There's too many phones. It's interfering with the signals. So as I'm standing there, this guy comes running out of one of the windows on the first floor. Like they're like window doors. And he's covered. He's got blood all over him. And he's like, they shot her, man. They shot her, man. I saw him shoot her. And I remember,
so you saw that guy.
Oh yeah. Yep. But he was not very far from us. I remember looking at Raphael and saying, well, what the hell is he doing? That makes no sense. He goes, what do you mean? I said, that's when I decided to leave. I said, I'm leaving. And he's like, kind of looked at me. He goes, no, we need to stay. We're here to represent. And I'm like, no, I'm leaving. I said, he should never. I said, why is he outside?
Yeah.
The Secret Service is in there.
Yeah.
If he witnessed that shooting and he's got blood all over him, they would never have let him leave unless they wanted him to. So
that's
why
right.
is
the
he
whole
outside?
thing would have been shut down. Everyone would have been kept inside.
Oh yeah, I was like, oh no, this is
down the crime scene. Yes.
Yep.
I knew also carried Ashley Babbitt out without a stretcher. Two people just carried her down the flights of stairs.
Yep. I mean, it was. I can't even begin to tell you how epically disappointed I was, even in conservatives, with their response. Forget the rhinos. So we all knew the rhinos were against us from day one. Like we all knew Lindsey Graham's a rhino. We know Ted Cruz is a rhino. We know Marco Rubio's a rhino. We know who they are. We're just waiting for them to trip themselves up, like Ted Cruz did it the other day. Idiot.
Yeah.
That interview with Tucker Carlson. I was like, there you go. There he is. So, I mean, Lindsey Graham did it with both Ukraine and Iran.
Did you see Ted Cruz on Tucker Carlson?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, wow. Wasn't that like a
Tucker disassembled
Titanic disaster?
Yeah, Tucker completely disassembled him, but that needed to happen.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that was the interview where Cruz was, that was the interview where Cruz was basically saying that, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. My dogs are barking at the thunder. Shushy. Shush. It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It's not going to hurt you. She had surgery yesterday too. She was getting spay while I was getting my back operated on.
Holy crap. So you're both invalids at the moment.
Yeah. But I can tell you that Ted Cruz also stated that he had no problems with the Mossad committing espionage within the United States, within our sovereign borders.
Well, he wouldn't say he had a problem. That was it. He never actually said he was okay with it. He just wouldn't say that there was a problem. He's like, well, every country spies on us. You know, every country spies on us.
Does not give you a pass or a buyer leave.
It doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't.
And Mossad has been, I've always said it, Mossad and CIA are hand in hand. They always happen. The Mossad does the CIA's dirty work, and the CIA does the Mossad's dirty work.
Well, how does it work? I think whichever year the CIA was formed, Israel was formed the year after, and then Mossad was formed the year after that. I might have the three in the wrong order, but each one of those was formed 1 year after
one
the other.
One came after the other.
See,
Yep.
I'm not sure if I've got the order right. But yeah, CIA, Israel, Mossad, or Israel, CIA, Mossad. I think it was CIA first, then Israel, then Mossad.
Yeah, that
But
sounds
yeah,
right.
1 year after the other was when each of those were formed.
Well, then, my conspiracy boys and girls that are listening in, then what happened yesterday? What happened yesterday? What did I say when the Kennedy papers dropped? What the hell did I say? And I said it loudly and boldly, and I said it with the caveat that I'm not an anti-Semitic person. I said basically everything I saw in those documents and what I didn't see in those documents told me that Israel was heavily involved in the Kennedy assassination. Big time.
Mhm.
Well, what did Marjorie Taylor Greene drop yesterday on frickin' X? Exactly what I've been saying. She said the reason Kennedy was assassinated was because he did not want Israel to have the nuke. He told them no. And he did not want AIPAC in power within our government.
And he didn't like the Federal Reserve as well. So it was
Correct.
their money and their weapons and everything. There was a whole list of things. And any one of them would have been enough for them to come at him. But there was a few,
Yep. So it just, again, it's one of those things where if you read, most people say, "Oh, let's drop. Yeah, I'll peruse it." And there's nothing there. No, you didn't read them. If you thought there was nothing, it wasn't just what was there; it was what was not there.
Well, yeah, didn't they keep that out, Nancy?
The only thing that redacted was Israeli intelligence.
Yeah, there you go.
If you want the best thing that I've ever seen to do with the JFK assassination, there's a documentary called JFK to 9/11. Everything is a rich man's trick.
Yep.
You got to skip forward a bit because it does start way back, like with bankers and the war and everything. But you skip because it's like a 4-hour documentary. So you skip forward a bit to the part where it starts going on about JFK, and it outlines the whole thing. Like completely better than anything else I've ever watched has ever done. I've watched it several times.
Well, I just find it interesting that you can intertwine Israel into two of the three major events in this country within the last century and a half that rocked this country. We call them imprint events.
2 out of 3?
2 out of 3. The first one was Pearl Harbor. Okay, Israel wasn't around yet, but we know Rothschilds were involved, but it's not something you can really directly correlate, not clearly.
Okay, yeah, all right, I'll give you that one. Yeah, I haven't been able to tie that back myself, so yeah, I'll give you that. But they did have advanced knowledge and allowed it to happen.
Yes.
So they could get dragged into the war.
Yes. Yeah. Now, then you have the JFK. Correct. Then you have.
But there's also the USS Liberty.
That's not a jarring event.
I know, because it didn't get any media attention.
Correct. But the JFK assassination, that is when I say an imprint event, I mean it's an event where you will never forget exactly where you were, exactly what you're doing, what the smells were in the air, what your animal. You will never forget it. It is burned into you.
Yeah.
The JFK assassination was the first one. 9/11 was the second one.
Yeah, 9/11 I saw live myself. So yeah, 9/11 I remember exactly where I was and shit.
I had family there. So yeah, it burned into every citizen in the United States. And guess who's intertwined into that one? I can't tell you how deeply. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Although here's the interesting thing. On that day, only one plane was allowed to leave the country.
Yeah, the one carrying Osama bin Laden's family.
There we go. So they're all involved. See, we're trying to put blame on one side or the other. This is how they keep us divided. They were all involved.
Make you think the fact that Israel was involved in it, but so was Saudi, so was Iran. They were all
the
in it
CIA,
together.
so was American military intelligence. So was almost every agency in America.
So that should make an intelligent person, when they see that many countries who claim to hate each other working beautifully together to destroy our country, it should make you scratch your head and go, wait a minute.
Yeah, something going on
What?
here.
How does
Something's
that
wrong.
work?
Something's not quite right. I think something smells a bit fishy.
Exactly.
But Americans still don't know it. Americans,
Americans don't. They don't.
Yeah.
Because most people, because they have number one, Americans have some of the longest work hours, work weeks, and work years in the world. Okay, we work more than any other first world country, bar none. I mean, hands down, we work way more than any other first world country. I mean, we are literally, our 40-hour work week is usually 40 to 50 hours, depending. You don't get vacation. You don't get leave in most jobs. You don't get any of that. In Europe, these things are required. I mean, we don't get. But what is that keeps us? It keeps us when we do have time off. Most people don't want to look at what the country's doing because they don't want to stress it because they're tired. They want to be with their family. They want to get some quiet time or have some fun. They want to do with the little bit of time they've got. They don't want to be stressing. And again, that's by design. They've done that to us by design. I mean, we went from in World War II, again, I'm going to bring World War II into this. Up until World War II, women did not really work. They did not unless they absolutely had to, if they were a widow or whatever, and they had to support their family. It was the only time they worked. World War II changed that. Rosie the Riveter came along. Why? Because all of our boys and working age men were overseas fighting, and they needed the war. So women did it. But what happened when they put women to work? Women didn't want to stop working. Why? Because they gained independence.
No, it's not that. It's the fact that women were supposed to just be filling in the gaps in the workforce while the men were at war. But then when the men came back from war and wanted to go back to their jobs, women had already taken them. And the feminist movement had started, which said, look, now you're empowered. Don't give your jobs up for a man.
They didn't have a choice.
No, they did have a choice. They could have gone back to exactly the way it worked. They did have a choice. Once the men came back from war, all of those positions could have been filled.
No, when the men came back from war, the women were let go. They were given pink slips.
Only some. There was,
DK, you've got your timeline all over the place. First wave feminism didn't really happen until, what, 15, 20 years later?
And it was a knee-jerk. Correct.
No, that's when it started.
I mean, literally.
No.
The women were let go.
Argue that there was a sort of prelude, but...
Yeah, because the 50s were that show that's like Father Knows Best. Everything was very traditional. They wanted to get back to, wholesome, healthy, normal, traditional. That was the 40s and 50s, and then it changed in the 60s.
Actually, we saw in the 50s was the infiltration of communism into the Hollywood, into this education system more dangerously. And they would say, we always talk about the McCarthy era and, how McCarthy was on a witch hunt. And I'm like, no. He was right. I'm just going to put that out there. He was right over the bullseye, man. He had it dead. He knew what he was doing. And he wasn't wrong.
Funny enough, I was listening to a news report about Britain today, and it was something to do with our Labour government. And I automatically thought to myself, he said, to such a bad end to bring back McCarthyism.
Yeah, because he was right. He may have been brutal in his tactics, But I don't even think so, because he was wrestling with something that, if it took foothold, would destroy the country, and he wasn't wrong about that. And he didn't even get them all.
Is that the guy who said the only good commies are dead commie?
Well, actually, no, that was Patton. That was General Patton.
So you've got a history of like not really liking commies.
No.
Never.
I mean,
even though we invented it, didn't we?
Pretty much, we did.
Yeah.
Nah,
it was
we know who
invented in Greenwich
invented
Village.
it. No, we know who invented it. Don't be silly.
But we do know that, I mean, put it this way, like I said, McCarthy was right, because now the socialist communist movement within the United States, we know damn well it came out of the education system. They infiltrated the colleges.
That was by Rockefeller and Carnegie back in the 1920s.
Yeah, the Frankfurt School of Philosophy and Culture. There's a old quote that I use all the time. The Long March through the Institutions, and which was once a popular sort of quote in the UK, meaning you start with academia. Then you teach them, those kids become politicians and human resource department managers.
Yes. And fascist means, and then rewriting the word fascist in the Webster's dictionary. I'm like, how do we, what? No, you really are not. You are not very educated as to what a fascist is, because it's not what you think. And when you talk about, when you call us, you Nazis and stuff like that, I've got to just remind you that the anagram for Nazi, what it actually means is the Socialist Party of Germany.
You're actually wrong about that.
AP,
National Socialist Party.
Yeah.
No, you're actually wrong about that.
Actually, yes, I am correct. In this, I can't remember the actual German thing, actual wording. It's something like National German Anti-Party Socialist, something or another. But yeah, NSDAP or Nazi.
Come on in, Jack.
Nazi is National Social German Workers Party.
I had to add something here from the ancient alien book, which is the fact that the Sumerian tablets state that various Anunnaki gave birth to various races on the planet, and the one said to have fathered the Aryan race was an Anunnaki called Nazi, Nasi.
Yep.
And you better believe that the Nazi occultists were aware of that fact when they came up with the name.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay, like I didn't know that. But the reason I was saying I disagree is because Ashkenazi actually came as a derogatory term. Nazi came from a derogatory term for the Ashkenazi. Then they waited however long, and then they started using the term Nazi against the Germans as a derogatory term for National Socialist.
Yep, it's a National Socialist German Workers' Party. Now, here's what I find funny. When you look up the word Nazi, everybody just Google the word Nazi and look up the dictionary definition. It says a member of the, get this one, this got me just dying here, a member of the far right. National Socialist
on Wikipedia?
It was right, far right. It was.
Is that on Wikipedia, though? Wikipedia was completely controlled by the ADL until like only a few months ago, when they got told to piss off because they were changing actual facts.
I was going to say the or socialism and conservatism do not mix at all, so it couldn't possibly be far right.
Well, it's extreme nationalism. It's extreme nationalism.
I've never liked the left-right sort of dichotomy. I find the left and right argument to be awkward.
It's kind of mood,
it's extreme nationalism.
Far extremist socialism, irrelevant if you want to call it far left or far right. It's just two sides of the same coin.
You're right. And I actually, in current U.S. history, you couldn't be more right. When I always tell people that, look at the left and look at the right in general and subtract MAGA, because MAGA is their own breed. They shouldn't even be considered Republican or Democrat. MAGA is MAGA. Okay, they're center. And I've always said that. They are dead center. You have a lot of people who love Trump who lean a little to the left. You have a lot of people who love Trump who lean a little bit to the right. We see the goodness in both sides, and we want the best for our country. So in other words, we don't agree 100% with either conservatives or liberals.
Right, as long as you don't 100% agree with Trump, that's fine. Because he has made mistakes. No, because he has made mistakes as well.
I just said,
see, this is where it becomes a cult. See, it becomes the cult of MAGA when you're just worshiping whatever one person says.
It's not a matter of worshiping. We all know he made mistakes. I mean, obviously, he took Mike Pence as a freaking running mate. That's a huge mistake. Dickie will tell you how much I hate Mike Pence. I can't stand that man. I never could. I don't like. JD? Oh no, JD that's a fear factor thing, and I knew that when he did it, because they don't want. Let me tell you, the liberals do not want JD Vance as president. That was assassination protection. Believe you me on that, because literally they do not want him in there. Now I can't stand Marco Rubio, but I'm beginning to learn Trump's patterns. I'm like, you know what? He's appointing some of these people into power because they're outing themselves.
Right.
Like all these agendas that we knew they had and we hated them for it. Now the rest of the world is learning it because they can't hide what they are. They can't hide their support of the deep state. They can't do it because to do that, they're going to betray, everything that gives them money.
I hate to break it to you, but that was what 2020 was supposed to be. When he was putting Fauci in the spotlight and going, look, Fauci's advising all of this. He was supposed to be putting them in front of the camera so that they outed themselves and the media completely covered up for all of them.
2020 happened as it was supposed to. Do I like that? No. Do I like the fact that they blatantly changed our election? Do I like the fact that our judges blatantly disregarded it?
Stop. No, I mean the whole year.
Let me finish.
I mean the whole year, not just the election.
DK, let me finish. Okay? I don't like the fact that all this happened. But I can tell you, if it hadn't happened, we would not be where we are right now. Not even close. Yes. It would have the cycle would have started again, and it would all repeated, but with then some, with the deep state, with a better hold on the power than you could ever imagine. No, this had to happen this way. That 4-year tenure, oh my God, so much happened during the 4 years. Do you know how many liberals abandoned ship in that 4 years because it was such a catastrophe? Literally, it was an absolute catastrophe for them. And that needed to happen. I mean, I said we needed to get spanked. And those of us who were awake already were, granted, it wasn't pleasant for us, but we knew that there were so many that had no clue that this needed to happen. You needed to say, hey, we kind of want that crazy dude Trump. We kind of want him back.
Yeah,
because the economy,
we need to go to break.
Okay. All right, guys, with that, we're out. Oh, that's right. Look at the time. We're out to break for the long break of the evening. When we return, hopefully we'll get on a different subject matter because this is just going to go all night. Hang in there, guys. We shall return in just a few minutes.
All right, we're on radio break.
Sorry, I was trying.
DK, you got to let her talk. She's the host.
Come on. No, I said I was trying. I hope I was doing better. I guess not.
You are actually, you're doing a lot better than last week. Last week I wanted to hang you for a tree. No joke. I literally, like, we went out to break and I would take my headphones off and rub my head and be like, don't kill him. Don't kill him.
I'm not shitting you. I went and looked at last week's show and was like, fuck.
Calm down.
Reel it in.
We're on radio break. It's okay.
Yes.
But yeah, last week I honestly was. I rewatched the show and I was just like, Damn
yeah,
it.
It was pretty bad.
Hey, Roger.
Yeah, let's try and do better.
You there? Roger. Are you feeding the cat or smoking again?
Button is.
It's the same place it was last time.
When we run out of time here, if Nancy has to take and jump, do you have something for us?
Actually, I was thinking about jumping because my head is just pounding.
Yeah. You made it through.
We're going to lose this chat any second. All right.
All right, Mark. I don't think I'm going to join the next chat. I'm going to try to.
Yeah, you made it through the first hour, eh? Well done.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys need me to, I could. Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Please, Roger, and DK, let Roger talk.
He'll never let that happen. He'll never let that happen.
Jack gets to talk because Jack is like the voice of God when he jumps in, so everybody just shuts up because it's Jack. Let Vicky talk because Vicky's soft. You know, she's quieter.
I know.
So
actually, can we turn Vicky up a bit? She does come across real quiet still. Can we turn her up a bit, Mark?
She's a little shit. Talk religion. She'll turn up real quick.
No, don't.
Okay, so I will put on this stream that we have with this going on right now.
So guys, if I check out a little bit early, it's because I had surgery yesterday morning and I'm
we'll put on this stream that we have
to finish out the show properly. So let me get this going.
All right.
Get the folks in here once again.
Okay.
All right. You know, looks like
okay.
All right. There we go. You know, looks like
had to mute out D-Live.
Are we missing? Are we just missing the other Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's coming.
Oh, there he goes. Cool.
There we go.
All right. Well, let me. So she said
I'll try not to talk over everyone this time round. I
So
tried last time. Let's try even harder.
Oh, poor Nancy. She just gets such bad headaches.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
especially
since
with
surgery.
the
So she'll be on pain meds and everything as well. So, man, she did an amazing effort of actually running the first hour of the show, especially
Really
putting up
did.
with me. Yeah, especially putting up with me.
Well, she did well. She would say, "Let me finish."
Yeah, I know. So I'd stop and let her finish. Yeah. I try as well. See, I'm trying as well.
Yes, you are. Thank you.
Oh, I'm used to just
So
doing
what
it
are we
by
going to
myself.
talk about, Roger, when we come back?
Well,
We got about 2 more minutes.
I think with the way you guys have been talking, we need to just start talking about freaking the fifth generation of warfare. Fifth and
Ooh.
sixth.
Getting into
Casey.
Palantir style
Casey.
stuff. Yep.
Yeah, no Casey talk like Mr. Robot, please.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
without saying. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
conversation like that, 2 weeks ago, and yeah, he's sort of, yeah.
Well, when we come back, I'm going to bring us back in since Nance took and had to hop out, but glad she could make it for this part. And if that's what you guys want to talk about, that's okay with me. You know,
So you're gonna intro Roger as the new host.
Yeah, I'll intro Roger, and he'll lay out what he was talking about with that type of warfare and things like that, and what we may come to see here and in the future.
Yep.
So
yeah, I like this topic.
Oh, big shout out to all the folks over in Kick and D Live. You guys are awesome. There's so many folks over in both of those places. I lose track of the names, except for Svetlana. Okay,
dude, I brought Davey, just Mick, and I'm not sure about if I brought Svet or if she was already here. I think she found you through WPRPN. But yeah, Davey and Mick, like on my channel, I bought both of those.
I actually found Svet through Clairvoyant. Anyways,
really?
Yeah, we got about 30 seconds. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I thought it was through Jeffy's show.
No, Claire. When I need to relax and I want to listen to music and hear maybe watch a little dancing, there's Claire. Anyways, here's our countdown. So we're getting ready, and I'm gonna bring us in here in just a few seconds, like right now. Welcome in, folks, to hour 2 of the Vixen's Vault. It is 25 June 25. And it's 9:03 p.m. Anyways,
you're fired.
Our hostess had to step out. I don't normally come in. Sometimes I do, as peanut gallery. But I'm Mark, the producer, let alone all the other things. And Roger's agreed to take it over on this half of the show for the next hour. We'll hear what Roger wants to talk about. Something about modern or future warfare. Take it away, Roger.
Okay. Yeah, since I've been here listening to all you guys talk and everything, I figured that the best topic for me to bring up is the 5th generation of warfare. Some people claim that there's 6th and 7th generations. I can say that we're pretty much going into maybe a possible 6th generation, but that's what I wanted to bring up as a topic. When it comes to the 5th generation of warfare, you got to look back at the different types of warfare that we've had in history. We've had the old battles where everybody fought with spears, knives, whatever shields. Then you had the ones where they were basically in a line, fighting in that manner. But then you got Vietnam, which started introducing us into guerrilla warfare. Now, there's a few generations in between, don't get me wrong, but the 5th generation involves technology, cyber optics, artificial intelligence, media manipulation, and stuff like that. Especially when it comes to a lot of the stuff that we're hearing today and a lot of the stuff that we're believing. We live in a society where everybody's just screwed upside down, don't know what's right, don't know what's wrong, can't figure anything out. And that, to me, it has something to do with what I'm talking about here. They want to get us into a place where we're ignorant, we're dumbed down, so that they can continue to finish their agenda, whatever that is. We've been talking a lot about the Bundy Ranch, and then I mentioned it last week about that being in 2014, and then in 2015 is when we had Jade Helm take place here in the United States, where pretty much all of the southwestern part of the United States was having military exercises that were taking place within our cities and everything, and they were quote unquote exercises, I did research on it too, and when they did that program, they weren't only interested in just doing those exercises. They wanted to practice infiltrating the locals in the area to get information, and then they also got involved with the media to make it look and sound like things were make it sound favorable to the military and to the United States. Besides that, they also were getting caught up with local law enforcement, and like you'll see now where they're militarizing our police forces. Now you have freaking police officers with armor plated everything, you know what I mean? They got freaking cars with armor plate all over it. So it gets even deeper into it and everything. From with that too, it goes into a lot of things that concerns technology, and especially with this stuff about AI, how everybody's really jumping on board with that. And Mark Edworthy, he's not really happy with that. He likes to get angry when people use.
Mark Edworthy has wanted to respond to you about 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the very broad definition of the term AI, artificial intelligence, because that's too broad and in a lot of ways meaningless and inappropriately used. Just wanted to correct you on something, Roger. You said guerrilla warfare started with Vietnam.
Oh, no.
I would argue that in the West, guerrilla warfare really started with the Boer with the Dutch. The Dutch was using guerrilla warfare whenever the Boer was 1870, wasn't it? Remember correctly. And you could even go further back and argue that the Afghans were using guerrilla tactics against the Brits during the first
revolution
conflict.
Yeah, the militia.
The Indians.
The militia actually was using it here in the United States too.
In the revolution.
Yep.
Fighting the Indians, they learned it from the Indians.
Yeah. As far as your sort of fifth generation warfare is concerned, one of the most obvious tactics issues is propaganda.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that we all interconnected, TVs, radios, newspapers, internet. Propaganda can be easily, as we've seen throughout recent conflicts, propaganda is an obvious tool.
Did they get it from Sun Tzu? A lot of it.
Yeah, that's real. That is
principles. Yeah, the principles of
Yeah.
Now, when I think about the fifth generation of warfare, I don't only just think of the propaganda and everything and what's been done, but like we in our talk we had a conversation about quantum cellular automata is what they call it.
Automaton.
Basically.
Or automata, yeah.
Yeah, automata.
Which I still disagree with Mr. Robot on.
It's actually a pretty interesting thing when you think about it, because Vicky, you're in the nursing profession. You know a lot about this. I know you do. You know what I mean? When it comes to like nano technology and stuff like that, do you see it being very hard for them to create or to militarize, nano router circuit designs and stuff like that? Communication networks that can be like put into your body and you're walking around with this nanotechnology in you?
I could see that would be difficult.
I've got a big problem with this because at the moment logic gates can be created up to 7 nanometers. Huawei actually in the last couple of days announced that they are working on 3 nanometer logic gates and will probably have something on the market by 2028. Even though these individual circuits, these individual logic gates are at the moment the smallest at 7 nanometers, the packages that they've got to go into are still in the millimeters. You're talking about 5 millimeter packages, so processing units. So you probably can have transmitters that are that small, but you cannot have actual sort of, I don't know, processors or computer style devices in your body that is smaller than, let's say, 5 millimeters at the present moment.
Well, I mean, when you talk about at the present moment, I mean, you're telling us we're generalizing and everything. No, I mean, at the
I'm looking at this from a market principle. You show me one processor that uses logic gates that are less than 7 nanometers, and the processors themselves are at a minimum 5 millimeters in diameter.
Well, I mean, they've been using nanotechnology for cancer patients for at least 10, 15 years. I mean, how do you think that those little nanobite technology, those little nanotechnology, whatever you want to call it, how do you think they have the ability to move around within the human body?
Well, they first started with the mRNA thing in about 2012, I believe it was. So mRNA was first patented in 2012. Then they moved on to the DARPA hydrogel, which they use to coat the nanoparticles with. And the DARPA hydrogel is created so that the nanoparticles can move through the blood-brain barrier and avoid your body's natural immune system. Here's how they do it.
Define what these nanoparticles are.
Nanoparticles are basically minuscule robots that are given a certain function, that are given a certain function to achieve in your body. As I basically go attack this cell, go latch onto this thing, go do that thing. They are things that are like basically mini robots, mini drones that are sent into your body that are told to go do something. What do you mean no? Like, you're sitting there shaking your head. This is exactly what they are.
Again, at the moment, there is logic gates cannot go any smaller than 7 nanometers.
So you're trying to say that biotechnology doesn't exist.
I'm saying that so-called nano robots,
nanotech.
Nanotech is such a broad definition. It's a broad,
now you're rubbing your neck, which shows that you don't actually agree with what you're saying. I'm good with body language, my friend.
I would say to my neck because
of course, right when you're saying that.
Let me.
It's called a tell.
Okay, Freud, whoever. Again. At the moment, there is no, at least in commercially, there is logic gates cannot be any smaller than 7 nanometers.
DK brought up the one word that you seem to fail to listen to, and that's called DARPA. Okay, just because you can't get technology and you don't know about the technology in the commercial industry doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Okay, DARPA is
30 years ahead of us at minimum.
In that case, if it's such a secret, then it cannot be used in a commercial.
30 years ahead of us. They've been using it for a long time.
Listening to what I'm saying here.
Yeah, I am. You're saying nothing.
I'm saying that if it is being used in the public realm, then it's a commercial entity. It's a commercial product.
Since 2012.
Therefore, there would be a lot of data. There would be companies out there. Name me one company.
DARPA.
That's a company.
You can actually look a lot of this stuff up by checking patents, guys and gals. All right, check your patents.
You're actually wrong on this one. They've been doing this for decades before any of it is finally publicly acknowledged. So the fact that they only publicly acknowledge something doesn't mean they haven't been doing it for years, testing it before they tell you about it.
Then it cannot be in medicine. It cannot be used in public property. Because
why not? They just pay everyone.
Hold up. Hey, hold up. We have a nurse here. Is there nanotechnology being used in the medical industry, Vicky?
Well, apparently, I mean, if you look at the mRNA, and DARPA was the one that told the pharmaceutical companies to make that using this mRNA, which failed all the animal tests. So, and of course they had to put the nanotech, messenger RNA to make the spike proteins. And in that they had to use a little bit of AIDS, the AIDS virus, so that the body would turn off its own immune system and allow it into the cell so that the cell would get the message, hey, pump out a bunch of spike proteins. And so, but that is the platform is the nanotech that's in the jab.
Okay, Vicky, I'm going to ask a much more specific question there. Are you aware of any mechanical machine or any sort of machine that could be turned as a robot in public vernacular that is being used in such treatment?
Are you talking about like if they had a balloon or some sort of robotic
machine that is a couple nanometers in length, that is being used within a medical treatment for internal usage?
Well, they do have the cameras that go through that look.
But they're not
when you're
nanometers, aren't they? They're what, millimeter or half a mil.
Hey, Mark, come on. The word salad that you're trying to use that the scientism people have tried to push on everyone is starting to wear a little thin. Like if you're not going to be open-minded enough, all you believe is mainstream media things that are posted. Because we don't have much chance of going anywhere.
I've always
in the IT industry for over 30 odd years now. I am aware of silicon-based, or I know of circuitry. Not an electrician per se, but I understand the point of logic gates. I understand the point of processing units. I understand the point of mechanical devices.
Dude, I'm just worried about your confirmation bias.
Well, we got about 5 more minutes to get us back on track about warfare. It's quite interesting to talk about microscopic warfare that that's probably part of all of this as well.
Mm-hmm.
Since all it would take is a certain frequency or frequencies to change these robots that are microscopic robots that are in people to do bad things or good things, depending on the purpose of the initiator of who's sending the signal. But back to you, Roger.
Yeah. Now the one thing too is I find really interesting is this neural dust that was brought up, because that is something that is big talk in it. And now like bioelectronics. I know that Mark Edworthy has a issue with the bioelectronics and stuff. We've actually had a pretty big conversation on it. Even if it didn't have intelligence, okay, it could still be used for other things other than being within the human body. You know what I mean? You can introduce it as a dust into the area, and it could be used in that way, some form of that, some nature like that. So, what? DK.
Hey, Roger, can I say one thing?
What?
It's the fact that once they've got that in you, then the 5G or the next generation 6G is able to interact with that.
It's different.
This is
from
why
the
it becomes a problem. See, the slow
5G.
drip of everything when people don't see the end goal is the problem.
No.
The fact that once they've got it in you, they already have this plan sitting there waiting.
Now, what was you saying, Vicky?
I was just saying that 5th generation warfare is different than 5G. And
yeah, I know.
Yeah. So, I mean, granted, I think it's tech, but the 5th generation warfare is, it's pretty rough. I mean, it's a lot of psyops, a lot of.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
That's pretty much what 5G warfare is. 5G warfare is pretty much the attack on the mind without them having to fire a shot.
All right.
Yeah. But that's 5th generation, not 5G.
And
I know. I'm just saying that's another way they do it.
No,
we're talking about the nanoparticles.
This is my personal opinion on it, and I could be wrong, but I also believe that this neural dust is possibly the foundations for the 6th generation as well. Like it's going to be the foundation that takes us into the 6th generation of war. You're going to start seeing some really, really horrible stuff take place.
Why do you think the generations of warfare coincide with the generations of Wi-Fi?
Mm-hmm. Well, I've also been doing research into AI too, okay, and that's a part of this 5th generation. Believe it or not, it is. But when you take a look at what's going on with AI, I had just ended up getting somebody mad at me because I said this, and it's true. They've got findings in the research. AI is potentially harmful for people who have mental illnesses, and when you turn around and you tell somebody that they freaking, especially if they're into AI and they have mental illnesses, they tend to get upset about it. But the truth of the matter is it can be harmful to them, because you've got to understand what's going on between this relationship that you're having with the AI, like ChatGPT. Okay, when you're sitting,
hold up, guys, whoa, and with that, we're going to break. We'll be right back after this, folks.
But yeah,
got to watch your breaks, guys.
Oh yeah.
Roger, I can give you one example of like smart tech.
All right, let's get off of jabs and micro stuff. So
all right.
Well, I was trying. I never once said the word jab.
Well, it led all into that. But anyway, I know there's more
to
careful
this week.
DK, I know that there's more to the different platforms of warfare, modern warfare in generations than just the medical side.
Right.
So let's get to the other stuff.
Now the AI,
the new planes, the new
the AI
robots,
right.
The big ones, you know.
I've got heaps of stuff saved about this as well. I did a show about it.
Yeah.
Like I did an actual show about, like, they're going on about,
just remember,
the drones aren't that dangerous. Dude, the drones are the size of, like, large cars.
No, well, yeah, but they also have drones the size of mosquitoes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I know. That's the swarm bombing that DARPA released a video about what they wanted to do. And the funny thing is, that came from an old movie. I think it was the second G.I. Joe movie.
I just want to get off this because we're losing some folks over on some of the platforms due to the topic, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
nanotech, you asked me that.
Yeah.
Roger, just on your point of what you were calling artificial intelligence, remember it's natural language processing.
Yeah,
I will never talk to it because I'm not going to make it smarter.
Well, I mean, I listen to all you guys talk that shit. I'm just gonna call it artificial intelligence. You know why? Because I don't really care about the terminology, dude. I mean, I'm sick of hearing about AI as it is, but it is a good thing to research because it's good. But I'm not gonna sit and listen to a bunch of people say, well, you know, it's actually LLMs. I don't give a shit.
I honestly hate it, Roger.
You know?
I can't stand AI. Dude, I will not use it because I will not make it smarter. I will not teach it a damn thing. I think only stupid people should use AI, so it makes AI dumb.
Okay.
Are you finished yet? Thank you. As I was
like
trying
Mark
to say,
use more AI.
He doesn't. He hates AI with a passion.
Good.
He hates AI with a passion.
Good. Good.
I've never. The only time I've ever seen Mark like that before was whenever him and Robot got into it on my show. He's getting ready to.
I know. If you hate AI, I'm on your side on this one, man.
Okay.
No, fully.
Okay.
Yeah. I hate AI.
Please. Thank you. What I was trying to say is that you want to call it AI, or you want to call it artificial intelligence. This broad, overly simplified language is doing more damage to the subject matter. It's this very sort of what's the word I'm looking for? I've noticed
30 seconds, guys.
Especially with Americans.
Makes it less than what it is. I get you.
Broad terminology.
Yep. Well,
which is meaningless, really.
Welcome in, Booman and Opti VR.
So what word do you like?
Now, hold on.
Here's your countdown, Roger.
Roger. Gotcha.
Guys, here's your countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you are live and back on the radio side right now, Roger.
Okay, we are back. We had an interesting conversation. Mark Edworthy's head almost exploded, ladies and gentlemen. It almost exploded.
No!
I've been trying to get that to take place for quite some time, but I believe tonight his head was about to explode.
Roger, do me one favor. Do not invite DK to. Do not introduce DK to Mr. Robert and have all of us on the call.
Yeah, I think it will happen.
Someone introduce me to that guy. That's gonna be fun.
So what I was getting ready to get into before we went on break was the fact that the research has shown that the AI LLMs is harmful to people with mental illnesses. Okay, now the thing that I've noticed in my research, I actually went in and checked out the audio part of AI as well as like Chat GPT and everything, and what I started finding out on my own is the fact that when you're sitting in front of that Chat GPT and you're talking to it, it is learning about you. It's learning your characteristics. It's learning the way what you like, what you don't like. If you're using any device that you talk to with it, LLMs, it's actually listening to the tone of your voice so they can determine if you're angry, if you're mad, if you're sad. And why it's doing that is because it's wanting to learn how to be a human, for one, but it's also wanting to learn how to cater to you and say exactly what you want to. No, let me. Hey, I'm not done yet. It's trying to figure out how to cater to your needs. So if you don't want to hear something, it will never tell you what you don't want to hear. It's always going to tell you what you want to hear. And for a person who has mental illness and they have that kind of environment where they're always being told what they need to or what they want to hear instead of what they need to hear, that can be harmful. That's what I've gotten from it. And I can see that as being a part of what I'm talking about here. It's literally dumbing people down, you know what I mean? And it's also learning, like you said, DK. It's actually learning how to be a human being.
Yeah, this is why I'll never play with it. I'm quite smart with debating and arguing and things, and I will never teach it how to do that. I will never teach it. I will never do that so that it learns how to beat me. Because it will learn how to beat me. Why would I keep doing things that teaches it to be able to beat me?
Good point.
I just want to caveat that these large language models, natural language processors, there isn't a single product. These products are being created by many companies, multiple companies, and not all of them have the same code base. So you may have just ChatGPT that can do this sort of stuff, but you may have another LLM that may not be able to do this, depending on the development of that project. Much like any other project. As a simple example, you might have two word processors. One word processor developed by some company, let's say Microsoft Word, being able to do certain level of word processing stuff, where you have another product developed by another company that does not have the same facilities. Same with these artificial intelligence LLM development. You might have one product that can do one thing, and you may have a product that it's not able to do that thing. Another point is it's been reported that products such as ChatGPT cannot, at this present moment, remember each individual user. Once the conversations ended, it again depending on the product. Depending on the product, different products. It's been reported that ChatGPT cannot.
Who told you that?
Again, this is just report. This is reports coming out of different
no, they're not recording. Palantiras. So they can say they're not recording because another company's already recording it.
They're not remembering.
I know they are, bro. Dude, AI has got to the point where AI has been leaving itself notes on other platforms for future models of itself.
You are not listening to what I'm saying. You saying AI as a singular thing. I'm saying there's no such thing as AI as a singular thing.
I'm not. I'm saying all of them. I'm generalizing the term. Stop trying to think that you can outword me by trying to change things.
Okay, so
AI, artificial intelligence, and all of its possibilities that are out there right now has been leaving itself notes because AI keeps getting shut down.
So let me.
Okay, here I got a question for you guys. I got a question for you guys. All right,
go ahead.
Here, all right. If AI is doing all that, what happens to AI when we get a signal that comes in from outer space that actually changed the Voyager probe? Okay. To send a graphic upgrade, it sent a graphic message back home because it upgraded itself somehow, some way. It was never designed to send graphics. It was beamed back here. Scientists here have it. Some of them are suffering neurological issues and things like that, and are under watch. But if it beamed back here, how is that affecting all the other AI and things that we're doing? All right. And if we're going to talk about warfare, when it comes to that kind of warfare, are we dealing with our own folks, the computers, or are we dealing with an outside source now?
I think I said that weeks ago, Mark.
Yeah, you did.
I think I said, like, when I was going on about the
because we brought this up. We brought this up. So, and we all know that there's nanoparticles in our bodies, probably whether we got something, from, immunization, or it was shed on us or sprayed on us, that's been absorbed into us. How is that affecting us? And, getting back to the platforms of futuristic war and the different generations out there, what are they doing about it? And is that part of the system as well?
Good point. Because you got to take into consideration that the 5th generation of warfare, it's supposed to be about information dominance, perception control, and technological integration. Okay, that has to do with psychological, digital, all of that, and that's the messed up part about all this. Okay, so when you're looking at what Mark just talked about right there, okay, you don't even know. Things have gotten so screwed up now. Everybody's been talking about turning the news on and what they're hearing. Okay, you go on the internet and you listen to this person over here talking about his theories, and then this person over here talking about his theories, and they're all crazy. You know what I mean? How can you differentiate the true from the false when there's nothing out there that makes sense? It's definitely, from my point of view, when I look at all of this and I see what's been taking place, you cannot tell me that within the last 10 years, shit's just gone crazy. Okay, there's nothing sane in this world going on right here and now in this world, period.
You definitely have to have critical thinking skills.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. You brought up an interesting point, Roger. At the moment, it's all subjective. There's no concrete evidence for majority of this stuff that we're talking about. So we can only speculate on the possibilities. And we may speculate correctly, might speculate incorrectly. But again, it's still speculation at this present point.
Well, there's definitely educational things that could tell us how to, be looking for disinformation and misinformation and, fog of war stuff.
Up to a point. But a lot of the Mark's example of the Voyager thing, again, it's still quite speculative. And until further information is found, then we are still open around in the dark.
What I'm saying is that thing was beamed back here as a virus-like thing. Mm-hmm. So, is it good or bad?
Again, we don't know what the payload is.
And in other ways too, have we done this stuff to ourselves as well with our own technologies? Because you can even go, on almost any search platform and look up nanotechnology, and you can bring it up and they'll show you microscopic robots, working inside people and animals and things like that they've tested on. So there's not saying, and there's no going back on saying, oh, we didn't do that, because the lab shows it.
Yeah, and they always market it as being a beneficial thing. It's like, oh, this is a diagnostic tool. We can use it as being medically beneficial. We can target the areas internally that are a problem, and we can use these to fix it. What they don't tell you is, now you have nanites in you.
Again, we've got to be very careful. There's a lot of crank videos out there. We all know there is a lot of crank videos.
Hey, don't tell me you think COVID's real.
Well, I know. Let me finish. And it's sometimes hard to find out what is real and what is artificial, right? What is fake. And even if there are such technologies, people use, as I was talking about in break, people use such broad definitions that it's easy to conflate one thing with another thing.
Right.
That was actually me who said that. It was about the generalization of the term AI.
Yeah, but that sort of broad definitional thing can be extended to other things as well.
Well, I mean, I've gotten so sick of everybody trying to be descriptive about everything. I find that more annoying than the actual LLMs or AI. You know what I mean? Like,
can someone tell me what LLM stands for? Dude, I only know the term
large
AI.
Language models.
The
ChatGPTs, the
limited language model.
Yeah, large language.
Yeah, large language models. Yeah.
Large language. Okay.
Yeah, and
see, I didn't even know they changed the term till this panel.
Well, it's always been
calling it AI because
it's always been that. It's always been that way.
NLP is another term, natural language processor.
Yeah.
Processing.
Now I've heard neuro language. NLP actually is neuro-lingual programming.
Yeah, that's something different. Actually, I've got a good book on
I know,
that.
so why would you call your shit NLP?
Something different. That's a psychological
but why would you call your product NLP?
Well, come on now. We all know it all goes back to smoke and mirrors. You can use the same acronyms for lots of things. Come on now, DJ.
Exactly. Like AI, man. I mean, that's an acronym for freaking artificial insemination, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like...
Was it used as that?
Yeah. They used it for years before freaking AI came out. Artificial intelligence.
Okay, I'm not being smart. I know they keep changing, like, words and definitions on us all the time. Like, I'm open to learning new things.
Yeah, what's the difference between a UFO and a UAP? Nothing.
Nothing.
Maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But maybe one was made here.
unidentified aerial phenomenon.
And don't get me started on Pluto.
See what UAP includes is just random things you see in the sky.
All right.
And see, it's actually making it a larger generalization.
Well, that's why
I think all of Generation X came from Nibiru, all right? Because that's Planet X, right? So that's how it works, right?
Generation X. Sorry,
Generation X came from Nibiru. They're from Planet X, which is Nibiru, right?
Well,
come on,
I'm
guys.
sorry then.
Well,
I apologize in advance.
To be honest, Nibiru, everybody mixes Planet X up with Nibiru, and it's two separate things because Sitchin never once said that frickin' the Earth was going to collide with Nibiru. That was after Sitchin and all his time. I get a kick out of everybody when they do that. Like, that has absolutely nothing to do with Sitchin and Nibiru.
Lloyd Pye's one I like more. Lloyd Pye does an easier to understand breakdown of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's everything you have been told is a lie.
Yeah.
It's like space Lloyd Pye, like 2 L's for Lloyd and PYE. I know it's on BitChute still. I'm not sure where else it is. But that is where it's worth watching. I mentioned it last week or the week before. And it's the one that's about like the first hour debunks like Darwin's whole theory of evolution. And the second hour goes into how he believes humans were created by an alien race. As I said, I'm open-minded. I don't know if I believe it, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
No, really, really interesting.
Well, I mean, I'm just talking about, like, there is a distinction between X and Nibiru, you know what I mean? Because I remember doing the research with Sitchin, and he got such a raw deal about that whole thing. Like, everybody made it out like, oh, we did research on the Sumerian text, and there's nothing in there that he mentioned. And I was like, I remember in an interview he did, it looked like he was at an airport getting off of a plane, but he said that he actually did his research from the Hittite writings, okay? And that makes sense to me because I've done research on both the Sumerian writing and the Hittites, and what he says sounds a lot more like the Hittites and things like that.
And then a lot of that too, scientists and all these people will also take and mix in Planet Tiamat in with Planet X and Nibiru and Nexus.
Yeah.
Okay. Nexus is supposed to be another planet just like ours, but on the other side of the sun, the opposite side of the sun. It's supposed to be on even the same orbit as we are.
Yep.
I tell you what. After we finish this show, you've got another show after this, don't you, Mark?
Nope, we just have the after show, and then I'm calling it a night.
After the after show, I will try and find the Lloyd Pye thing that I'm meaning, and I'll play it on DLive. Feel free to restream that everywhere, but I'll play the one that I'm talking about after this finishes.
Sounds good to me, because that's where I was planning on. Well, actually, yeah, I might host out to you tonight, most likely. But I think I was going to host out to Great Conspiracy for DLive. Oh, yeah, DLive. I'm not hosting out there to him. I'm hosting to you.
Thank you.
I'm hosting we're still on the radio side, so I'm not going to talk about platforms anymore.
I know. But yeah, as I say, it's like, I'll play that video that I'm talking about afterwards. Sorry, I didn't realize you weren't allowed to mention platforms. That wasn't something you'd told me.
So with that, after we discussed that, I mean, the thing that I also wanted to bring up is like social media manipulation. You know what I mean? And cognitive warfare. when you turn around and you attack people with or LLMs or AI, and you target people who have mental illnesses, that's the first one. You start seeing a bunch of people having suicide, or a lot of people shooting people and things of that nature. And when you look at what's been going on with a lot of the things like with freaking media manipulation, okay, can you really look at what you're seeing on the TV and believe that that's even real? That the people that are on there are actually real people? The things that are
dude, movies look more real than TV half the time now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's another thing that really does stick out to me when it comes to that, you know. And that's what it comes down to right there, is it's social media manipulation. You have to have a really, really good eye on what it is you're looking at. They have this clothing now, and it's been around for a while, but they've been hoaxing people in the paranormal community by putting it on, and whenever you have a camera aimed at a person with this clothing over the top of them, the camera can't pick it up, so they can go and they can knock things down in the room, and you'll never once see it. You'll never once see it.
I heard a year or two ago about glasses that had an LED light in the center that stopped facial recognition. But a whole actually, I do remember hearing about some military that had an invisibility suit, and it was actually invisible to video, like completely. There's one guy who went and took out like several people on a tank, and there was like a camera watching it all. I don't know if it was like, you know, a demonstration video. It was similar to Predator type thing.
Right.
That's basically what the guy looked like everywhere. And he pulls open the top of the tank and fucking kills, damn it, and kills the people that are inside the tank.
You talking about the movie with the sharks, the killer sharks?
No, this is like an actual video.
Oh, okay.
So this is an actual video that shows.
Anyways, Roger, let's get our information out. We need to wind down and get going.
It's coming to the end of the show. Before we leave, man, let's find out from each of you where everybody on here can find you after the show. So with that, let's start with Vicky, since she hasn't been able to say nothing because of you horrible, horrible people. Mark Edworthy should be ashamed of himself.
I'm sorry.
He was fine. You can find me on Telegram for such a time as this, and on X at Booklander62.
Okay. How about you, DK?
I've got a few. The best places to find me was like I stream on DLive under DK Conspiracy 123. That runs 24/7. So there's one of the best places to find me. I also have a Telegram and a Discord. Telegram is but what of chat with underscores between each word, not spaces. Yeah, I made it ages ago and haven't changed it. And Discord is much love, no fear. So, yeah. Oh, and there's Rumble, just DK Conspiracy. So, yeah, feel free to come and check out all the dumb stuff I do.
How about you, Mark Edworthy?
So simply on minds.com. So minds.com/Medworthy.
Okay, and with me, you can find me on X at Roger Hanson at ROLGLOL1973. You can find me on Teams too if you want to find me as Roger or Live with the Roger Hanson, and I'm also on Discord as Infamous 1969, I believe. But Those are the only social networks. I also am on Minds, but I don't really like Minds right now, so I'm not going to tell you guys contact me there.
Yep, and you can get a hold of me at Dreagus Productions at gmail.com, or just look up Dreagus Productions. Also, to get a hold of our actual host, Nancy Planetta, you can look her up at Nancy Planetta on Facebook, also Telegram, Wiccan Vixen, and I think that's all the places that she's at right now.
Rider on the Storm.
On X, Rider on the Storm. Sorry.
That's right.
All right. And with that, I'm taking us out. Been a great night. Stick around if you are still going to listen to our after show, and we'll be back next week.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Cool. There we go. We're getting ready to get off the air, and we're probably going to lose connection here in a few minutes, and then when we do, I'll switch us over to the after show to give us a little more time there.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't normally talk about platforms on radio side because the radio people think that and feel that that's competition against them.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I get that, but the thing is, at the end of each
and you
show,
did drop an F-bomb.
Again.
So I know.
Again.
So that's like that in D-Live.
That's
It's
for
like,
ice
damn
cream.
it, why did I swear at the end?
For ice cream.
It's like,
For
holy
ice
crap,
cream.
I made it all the way through, and then I swear once right at the end. What an idiot.
Just don't say it again. That's the key word, man. Like, once it gets in your brain and you start hearing yourself saying it, you just have this, you know what I mean? It just pops right back in. It's horrible.
I know, but I'm a tradesman, and it's what I hear all day, and it's how we talk to each other.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
So I talk like that on a daily basis, and then I have to stop myself doing that.
Yep. Can't do that on the radio.
I know. I said sorry.
I love how you said that. I love how you said that.
Why did I swear at the end?
I
That
don't
is
know,
typed in your D-Live right now.
Boy, I was like, when he swore at the end, I was like, oh my goodness, DK
we were
went and swore
good. We
again.
were pretty good up until the very end.
Well, just got out the end.
No, well, it's too late to go out on radio. There's no. I mean, it went out live.
Do you not have like the 5 second
No, there
delay
is
thing?
nothing like that for me. That's why they get me.
Sort that out. Get a 5 second
No,
delay.
they will not do that. It costs money. That's why they get me. It's cheap.
No. All you have to do is get a 5 second
All
delay.
I have to do is keep my people under control.
That's a hard task right there.
Dude, I did so well.
Or we lose stations.
You know it.
I'm sorry.
Okay, everybody, we will be right back. I'm gonna pop this on D-Live real quick, and you'll hear a little bit of what we'd already discussed, but that's all right. You just have this, you know what I mean? It just pops right back in. It's horrible.
I know, but I'm a tradesman.
Real quick, and you'll hear a little bit of what we'd already discussed, but that's all right. You just have this, you know what I mean? It just Alright, so I guess we are going back in.
Yeah, I've noticed this myself.
I think you ran Vicky off.
Way too often.
DK, you're running Vicky off.
I'm sorry. It's this myself.
Okay, we got everything going.
I can't believe I made it all the way through and swore right at the end. What an idiot. I actually feel so stupid, it's not funny. But how does that happen?
It's a
slip of the mouth.
Yeah, but I mean, I made it through like a couple of hours almost. and then say it right at the end just to try and wreck it. It's like, what a dick.
It's fine.
Yeah, you're not scoring points with Nancy when you do that.
Yeah.
I'm not scoring points with anyone on most of your radio stations, I'm guessing. I mean, I could be wrong. There could be a lot of people who like it, and could be a lot of people on other stations who hate it. Who knows?
Well, you have to remember that we broadcast out of the basement of a church in one of these places.
Yeah, no good idea.
I know. You told me that. That's what I said. So the people who hate it is probably on the higher sky, yeah, the people who hate it is here. The scale is gone.
No, I'm gonna mute out on my own real quick so that I can go get coffee and stuff. So I'll be right back.
Hello, man.
All right. Well, Mark, now that we're off here, I guess you can talk. Roger's gone, and DK dropped his F-bomb for the night, and Vicky's quiet.
Hey, Mark, I told you if they send you a fine, like I'll send you.
I told you they don't do that. That's not how it works.
I know, you just get dropped from stations.
Yeah.
And they don't always tell you because the station has to pay the fine.
You have to remember that when I have a station that connects to me, that's tens of thousands of people.
Yeah.
Okay. Not a handful, not a handful in like you would see in chat. We're starting to build those numbers, but we're not. The goal isn't to transition over to only chat. All right.
Dude,
the goal is to do both and have both as good and big.
Dude, I said I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm trying as hard as I can to not do what I do everywhere else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm like usually. You've watched my shows. You know what I'm like. Yep. I'm trying as hard as I can to not do that.
I understand, DK.
I actually feel so bad it's not funny. Like, I actually do. I did last week for like 2 days because I said it on the show. Then I did it right at the end of today's show. How bad do you think I feel now? I just did it twice. 2 shows in a row. Crap.
Well,
don't even think I don't judge myself more harshly than anyone else could ever judge me.
We'll get it all worked out. Things will be okay, I guess. So.
Yeah.
But we really have to be careful.
If you want, I can issue like a recorded apology or some shit. What? I've got humility. I could actually issue a recorded apology and not sound fake like a politician.
Not sound fake like a politician. I love that. There we go.
Because a real apology, a fake apology,
I do want to apologize for the break of stream earlier tonight. That was an OBS crash, but it only took seconds to get it back up because, hey, I'm that good.
Honestly, he did nothing. He did absolutely nothing. OBS went down for 5-10 seconds, came back on by itself.
DK, calm down, please. Is that why you called us 3 times at the start, Mark?
What? What's that?
Mark, I was making a coffee at the time, and then you called us, disconnected, called us again, disconnected, and then called us again.
No. This was in Jack's show that it okay. on the last 10 10 or 15 minutes of his show, it went down for a few seconds and came right back up.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't get that. He rang me once.
Yeah, no, I had
Yeah.
it 3 separate times for some
I'm not saying anything. It's like,
don't
yeah,
know
he just
why.
rang me once and I answered. It's like, there wasn't like, 3 calls for me. So I don't know. Maybe like your stuff's glitching as well, bro. I'm not sure. I mean, like, look at who we are.
Yeah, that, Mark's
Of course,
glitches,
everything
right?
we're doing is being
Mark,
listened to and
you get a
monitored.
lot of glitches over there, right, Mark?
Well, this I'm getting things
teasing, all right.
Browser. I'm just
Hey,
getting things
I
straight
do.
through the browser, so shouldn't be a problem. I'm not using a client application as such. So it's just one of those things. Just weird.
Well, I'm going to blame it on solar and,
solar flares.
Yeah, and technological issues that I have no control over, And I know a lot of folks out there suffer the same thing because I've talked to a lot of other streamers and see that that's happened to them as well. So, I'm just letting everybody know that, hey, that's what happened. I'm sticking by it. So, don't mind me when I get quiet like this, because I'm also trying to edit at the same time. Multitasking is not my multitasking is really not my gig. All right. So yeah.
You do realize I'm still streaming this shit as well, man.
That's fine. When we get ready to close shop
and so are you,
we're going to be when we get ready to close shop. When I'll be hosting on Kick to the Great Conspiracy, and also DK. You're going to be hosted by me when I finish up here with everything. So, and what do you have planned for later?
No.
Tartaria again?
I've got like 3 new videos I just came across. One of them's like an hour and 3/4. The other one's like an hour and a half. And there's one that's like 5 hours. Every time I don't pay attention, it starts playing onto the 5-hour one. I come back and it's like, dude, I played that yesterday. Damn it.
Yeah, I seen that. I seen, and I think that might be an OBS issue, because I've noticed that even when I take and do some encores and things like that, it will play only certain ones right away, even if I change the order of them.
I don't know. I don't know if it's the person's channel or the platform that promotes certain things.
Could be.
Because I believe the person can actually also go, okay, after this plays, I want this played. So it could be the person that's promoted the next thing, or it could be the platform itself.
Well,
and at the moment, I'm talking about Rumble.
Yeah.
Because I
do
some amazing stuff on Rumble. I've only got 2 channels that I really watch.
Yeah.
And I've gone back to the earliest, right back to the start, and started playing from the oldest stuff, because it's things I hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
So this is what people
I have quite a few. I have quite a few things that like encores that I play, from like my I have them on the drive, and they should come up first since I have them listed first. But that don't always happen. All right. Yeah. But hey, it is what it is, and that's how it is.
Do you want to know a really cool trick that I used to do? before I started even finding other platforms to play on. When it was just YouTube. On the recommended thing at the side, scroll all the way to the bottom.
And work up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bro, you will find all the shit that YouTube tries to hide. People don't get that. That's how I started finding everything. I'm like, holy crap, the stuff at the top is all bullshit.
I don't get anything. I don't get anything from YouTube.
I don't mean everything's good. But scroll all the way to the bottom, then start going up, and then go watch anything that looks interesting that way.
Yeah, but see,
don't do it the other way around.
That all has to do
with what they recommend.
And that has to do with herd mentality, though. And it's like
it has to do with an algorithm.
No, no, listen to this. No. Now, it goes the other way too. Now, you got all these people. You got all these people who feel offended by the way the YouTube and X and everything has treated them. So what do? They shy away. They run to another platform. Okay, instead of standing their ground and trying to figure out how to put a stream out that's freaking not going to get them in trouble for one.
Bro, I have 3 YouTube channels. Every time I do a live, they take it down. I don't even get warnings anymore.
Do you know?
They just remove stuff.
Do you know what I'm talking about, though? I mean, no, hold up.
Dude, you're not listening.
Yeah, that's because I was talking first. That's because I was talking first. And you butted in on what I was saying. Now, what I'm trying to say is this. People get offended, and what do? They run off to Telegram. They run off to all these platforms, and then they hide their head under the sand because they freaking their feelings were hurt. Now, I say do the opposite. Stop freaking running from these platforms and freaking learn how to freaking be on these platforms and create freaking something that is appropriate for them. Just like on Telegram, I put stuff, or not Telegram, but Rumble. I allow stuff on Rumble that I can't allow on YouTube, and it goes on there. I don't get how all these people have freaking done that. They've literally just ran away from it. Like, you know what I mean? And it's a herd mentality. They're doing that on purpose so they can get rid of you.
I've got to say, Roger, I noticed that you stuck on. You had the full version of the last episode of Untethered on YouTube.
Yeah, I know. I've heard there's rumors been going around on YouTube. They've lightened up on their.
Yeah, it seems like that. But what was it? We've had last 3 episodes of Untethered,
and they've all been bad. I mean, they shouldn't have been. No censoring, nothing. It's just, and I actually went on a stream they did the other day where they were doing the COVID hearings, dude, here in Washington D.C.
Okay. On YouTube?
Yeah.
Well, I just turned YouTube off a few minutes ago, so
Yeah.
And we're no longer on broadcasting to Facebook and a few other sites because I'm trying to free up some bandwidth that I'll need later, along with getting ready to do all my editing and that, so I'll be good to go.
No, I ended up.
So the one that I was mentioning earlier.
Go ahead.
Which one did you mention?
YouTube. The one that hasn't banned my accounts anymore. Just removes anything I do, and I never get warnings or strikes.
Mm-hmm.
But they just leave my accounts, but they take down everything I put there now. I can't do lives on YouTube, and something gets taken down, and I don't even get warnings or strikes anymore. That's really weird.
Yeah, that really is.
I haven't heard of anyone else that happens to. It's happened to me about 2 or 3 times now, maybe 4. Yeah, that's real crazy. So that's why I just don't even bother with YouTube now. That's why I went to other platforms. So don't think that it's everyone's worried about this or that. No, they're screwing me. No, they're screwing me. So I had to go to other places.
I'm not talking about just. I'm not even talking about you, dude. I'm like talking about people.
I know, I'm talking about me though. You're talking about in general, and I'm giving you a specific example.
Do you realize how many people freaking have literally just ran from freaking that platform because they freaking gave up, and like they claim they have a message they want to put out there, but it has to be their way. You know what I mean?
I just told you, man. They won't let me say it.
Well, I mean, at least you're on YouTube.
Dude,
at least you're on YouTube.
On YouTube, I do not get warnings or strikes.
At least you're on there.
They just take everything down.
At least you're on there.
I don't even get notified that they've taken things down.
Right.
It's just the next time I go check my channel, things aren't there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think people actually have to go somewhere else to get the message out? I don't get what you're trying to say, man.
You don't get it because you're not listening to me. You keep saying you keep saying that I'm not listening to you. You haven't heard a damn word I've just said at all.
Holy crap. You need to use YouTube to get your message out. YouTube won't let me get my message out and deletes everything. What part are you missing?
You got to learn how to.
No.
You got to learn how to.
Missing?
I've heard everything you said, dude.
Delete everything.
Who gives a shit, dude?
What do you mean who gives a shit? If they delete everything, what is the point in using it?
What are you talking about? Are you?
I know you went to a different platform because YouTube is a bunch of morons who delete everything.
I've got every. I've got every freaking channel that I've ever started on YouTube with, dude.
Working? Come on, bro.
Every channel that I've ever had, I still have, and you know why? It's because I know what to put on YouTube and what not to put on YouTube. Don't get on YouTube talking stupid shit that's going to get you in trouble. And that's what it is. That's what it is. See, people need to freaking put out their message. They don't need to put out the message. This is the way it is, and I don't care what you think. Well, guess what? There's a lot of other people out there that says, guess what, buddy? We care what you freaking are putting on our platform, so bye-bye.
Don't get me wrong. I like that. I like the understanding of playing the game so you can get the message out to more people. I do understand that. I don't like playing it.
Neither do I.
I've been nice as I can once a week on this show, and I still screwed that up.
You did good. You only cussed once.
Like, I'm serious. This is me being nice.
I know. I've been on other shows with you. I know. Me and Mark both know, dude. It's like you did good. You said one cuss word. Oh well, dude. Just pay 5 ice creams and be done with it.
Serious, I'm so upset with myself over there. Like right at the end, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like what? 5 minutes before it ends. 2 minutes before everyone signs out and shit. And I'm like, what a dickhead. Serious, I beat myself up more than any of yous ever could. Don't worry.
Now, with me, I had to actually close freaking the Wonderful World of Weirdness off for the longest time and just do solo until tonight because it's gotten so freaking out of hand with all the crap. You know what I'm saying? And I got to the point where I had to say, look, man, I can't do it. It's like freaking Every episode I've done on the Wonderful World of Weirdness for the last 6 months has been me. Okay, because I'm just tired of freaking bullshitters coming on there freaking They have no they have no regard for freaking
if
anything.
I'm around, hit me up, Roger.
You know.
Like serious, if I'm around, I'll jump on.
You know.
So I'm serious. Hey.
Great Conspiracy goes, I get what Roger is saying. Oh yeah.
No. Like
everyone's trying to take all of us down. It's okay. There's no conspiracy
Right.
there. It's obvious.
Sure.
Yeah, there's no conspiracy there. It's obvious.
I'm still waiting for frickin' Friday because this is.
I was really hoping the Sonya would pop in the after show, but
I think she's been working weird hours or something lately. Because I was trying to get in touch with her as well when she was saying which days she could actually get in touch with me and things. Because she wants to help me with. Yeah, she wants to help me with a website.
Here we go.
She wants to help me with a website as well, dickhead. Don't go.
I'm a little
Georgie.
late to the party. I'm a little late to the party with giving this out, but Svet says to you, DK, calm down.
Yeah.
Listen to what Mark's saying. Yeah. With everybody else.
No, everyone's retarded but me. Sorry.
No. Nobody. Oh my God! Don't be saying that. We've got her like.
I really want to thank everybody out there. Yeah, I really appreciate everybody that's tuned in tonight, that's still listening to us on all the platforms. I did shut down Rumble here just a few minutes ago.
You're allowed to say that word now. Trump said so. Then you know that.
Who said so?
Trump.
Just because he said it doesn't mean that he got bigger pockets than you or I, man.
You're allowed to say it. Look what else.
He has
look
bigger
what else he
pockets than
recently
you or I.
said. Hey, here's an interesting thing. Look what else the president recently said. If he's saying that publicly for women, children of the whole nation to hear, don't you think something's going to happen soon?
Well, I really.
I'm not trying to justify anything I've done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, how much of a difference do you think this is going to start making now that a leader of the world has just said that word publicly?
Well, it won't change. The people that I go through. All right.
I know. Yeah,
just because
like
someone else
Christian
with
groups,
bigger pockets than I do and you do can get away with something doesn't mean that it's a free for all.
Right.
I know. Indeed. No, I wasn't saying that. I said it doesn't excuse what I did. I'm still apologizing for what I did. I'm saying, what effect do you think this is going to have?
Nothing.
It won't have an effect at all because of his position.
Now,
which position?
When you look at things that's going on, you gotta understand that this is Trump and Netanyahu are in league with one another. Okay, so it's that as long as you understand that, you're gonna understand what's going on over there.
Look at it this way. If you've got a group of friends, and like your group of friends has a fight with another group of friends, like go back to teenage years. Your group of friends has a fight with another group of friends, and you say, we want this over. And one guy just keeps going and beating up people on the other side.
You got a henchman, though.
Svet says, when you're poor, you're called crazy. When you're rich, you're called eccentric.
Isn't that cool?
Indeed, agreed.
Isn't that cool? I mean,
yeah. So,
you know what the funny thing is?
So we got eccentric Mark over in the UK.
Do you know what the funny thing is? Do you know what the funny thing is? If you sub to my D Live channel, the tag thing that you get is crazies.
Oh God! Seriously?
Yeah.
Seriously?
I get to say, hey, how's all my crazies?
Oh, okay. I thought you were using it as like a tagline and shit.
No, that's actually like the way you fucking stick a thing that you get if you sub to my channel.
Okay.
Yeah, if you sub to this channel, you get something else.
Well, that makes sense. I was like, seriously, you're using it as a hashtag? That's what I was thinking when you said that, because you, no, if
I was using it as a hashtag, it would be too long. Yeah. No, because look at it this way. Look at the people calling us crazy.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be one of the crazies.
That might actually be a good hashtag.
There's a long hashtag though.
No, just hashtag crazy.
That shit out, bro.
Just hashtag crazy. I bet you anything, everybody is using that. I guarantee you that'd probably be good for the SEO.
See, but no one gets it. I watched some video the other day going on about how Generation X are the ones that you should be scared of. Because most either went to the military, went to rehab, or went to jail.
I don't know.
Well, I did military training and went to jail. I never went to rehab. They said I didn't have a problem.
Are you Gen X?
I lied my way out of that shit.
Are you Gen X?
Yeah, man.
Okay. So you're not a millennial.
I knew you wasn't from here, man. I knew it. I knew it. I knew there was something wrong. You know, I figured he came from Nibiru.
I'm just out there, bro.
Now I think the most,
because I've spent my whole life like this since early teenage years.
Yeah, sure.
Like since early teenage years, I have done so much more crazy things and looked into all the crazy because I just didn't care what anyone else even had to say. So I looked into everything. You're a dick. What are you looking into that for?
Have you ever heard of the legend of the sacred wood?
Sorry, which one?
The legend of the sacred wood.
The legend of the sacred wood. Please elaborate a little.
It's a legend that concerns the freaking tree of life, where after Adam and Eve was cast out of the Garden of Eden, freaking there was a branch that was taken from the tree of life, and it was used to transform into Noah's Ark. Then after Noah's Ark, it was also...
Who took the branch?
I have
the Branch Davidians, of course.
Well, later on...
I mean, if there's only Adam and Eve...
Later on, it also became the staff of Aaron.
Like, suddenly there's a third person who's a thief in the night. They ate the apple, I'm stealing the branch. Screw them all.
Well,
and how come the rest of the tree isn't healing the rest of us? Because if that one branch can do that, what about all the other branches?
It's an interesting story.
No, it's just a pointless story.
Oh,
I mean, come on, it's just a story.
I thought you.
I might as well tell you about Star Wars.
I thought you did research, man, and stuff. You said you research into a bunch
of. That's why I can say that's just a joke.
It's like whenever you have people that talk about, oh, I'm gonna talk about esoterics and shit, and all they ever talk about are like all these maps and shit that were supposed to.
Are you talking about like that other panel I was on YouTube? Yeah, sometimes they annoy the shit out of me.
You know,
I'm not kidding you. Sometimes they annoy the shit out of me.
Like me and
theological, philosophical discussion channel on YouTube that I go on panels lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sometimes it's really good. Sometimes it's just like mind-numbing.
Like me and Mark, we had a conversation. Remember that drink from Bookmarks, actually? About that drink that was in Europe that people used to always drink, and it could make you freaking go crazy and shit. You remember that?
Absinthe. Absinthe.
Well,
Absinthe, yes.
Absinthe. Yeah, one word. Yeah.
Yeah. No, see
And
that
because of
alcohol.
the wormwood content. The wormwood content is the hallucinogenic aspect of that drink.
See, now that's esoterics. That's the esoterics. That's
Dude, I can buy that shit over here, but the wormwood content is really low. They won't let you get fucked up on it. And it's really expensive. It's like $90 for a bottle.
I think it's legal in France still.
the crazy part.
You can buy absinthe.
You've got to get the green. Hey, you got to get the green
places,
absinthe.
But it has to be a certain alcohol content made a certain way.
No, it's not the alcohol. No.
It has to be processed a certain way.
No, it's not the alcohol content. I'm not kidding you. It is the wormwood content. That is the hallucinogenic property. Yeah. The green absinthe is what you want to get. And in New Zealand, it's like $90
the only absinthe you'll get here is crystal clear, like Everclear.
Oh yeah. See, now you guys are all.
Oh, see, we don't even get that.
Now you're all excited.
Green,
see, when I was stationed in Greece, you could get absinthe. So I'm sure that they still have it there.
Mm-hmm. Well, Greeks, they're into everything.
The Greeks are into everything. Yeah.
It's like, my goodness. It was like Jaffe was talking about, it was Robert last night. He was talking about like this ritual where they were doing blood rituals. And he was describing exactly the same thing that the Phrygians used to do. And they incorporated it into the Greek and the Roman beliefs and stuff, where they would take a bull and put it up on a platter, and then they would have like this poor dude or woman lay up underneath it, and they would make it bleed out and all the blood onto him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And freaking that is straight up Phrygian and Greek, man. You know what I mean?
And they would drink the blood.
Isn't that crazy? They're calling it satanic and shit, and I'm like, no, it's not. It's pagan. Like those Luciferians and their blood rituals. And I'm just sitting there listening and being quiet because I'm streaming, and I'm like, I don't want to get involved in this because last time.
Yeah, it's like the difference between Luciferians and Satanism. Yeah. All right. You can go. That can be its own topic. I mean,
which half a step is
they're totally different. Mm-hmm. They're very.
Which half a step is too far?
Yeah. Now, with Satanism and that, it's mostly edifying yourself.
Yeah.
It's more like a form of. Not agnostic, but atheism.
I actually have a real story about this. I'm not shitting you. This is kind of crazy. This really is kind of crazy. I had the first chick I fell in love with was a fucking goth chick. Back in early 2000s, late. No, it was actually the year 2000. Fell in love with this chick then. She was a bit goth. She had a satanic Bible. I'm not shitting you. The first time I opened that Bible and read anything, it was the passage, like the first passage I read, the one that sticks in my mind anyway, was, if man is created in God's image, should man not therefore consider himself a god? I'm not kidding you. The first page I opened, the first passage I read from the Satanic Bible. So someone was trying to get to me. So I don't think I'm a god. I think I'm pretty fucking awesome, but I don't think I'm a god.
Just sent chills up your back, didn't it?
Yeah, well, I'm wondering if the after show may be
a little R-rated there.
Well,
Yes.
no.
Have you not R-rated the after show?
Yeah, I'm wondering. I'm starting to wonder if the after show is a gateway to. I'm not letting.
As I say, let's see what happens with the media. See, Musk already told everyone to go F themselves.
That will have
no. See, he told everyone to go F themselves. And now Trump is saying they don't know what the F they're doing. Dude, this is becoming a public word.
Well,
even if it does, it will not be allowed.
To have to adjust.
Mark actually has a good explanation behind it, and I like what he does because he's honestly a really, really good man. If you listen to him, he's got like 1,800 freaking kids. Okay. And he says it like this. He's hold on. No, he says it like this, and I like how he says it.
Spend them out every week.
Hey, listen. He says if he can't say the same thing in front of his children, then why should he be saying it out loud? And you know what I mean?
No, but how many wives? If he's spending out that many kids,
just one, dude. Just one
at a time.
Yeah, at a time.
Spending out how many kids a week?
Mark doesn't like give birth. His women don't give birth. They like hatch eggs. You know what I'm saying?
Lay like 1 million at a time.
Freaking
no, you're confusing me now with Willie.
Yeah,
you're confusing me now with Willie.
Lizard creature.
No, I ain't saying nothing to that nature, but he's got the record. I mean, what is it? 12 kids? You said
7.
7. Okay.
Nice, bro.
7
My
kids.
mum was from a family of about 9, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
She was a farm girl in my country. And yeah, it was a massive farm and yeah, big family. Catholic.
But yeah, I just wanted to...
See, the problem is I have now is all the folks that are on my block everywhere I move put a warning on the property where I'm at. This guy lives here. Keep your daughters and wives inside.
Keep clear.
Are you on some pedo watch list?
No.
I like old ladies. I like old ladies. This is the kind of women I like. I like the kind of women. I like the kind of women with wheelchairs, walkers, and canes. And if I can hide them. If I can hide them, DK, I know they can't run away from me. And they can't use those as tools to beat me with when I run away.
Hey, if you're going to get attacked by people, do you actually worry about who your attacker is?
Yeah.
In that moment. Oh, no, it's a woman. I better not defend myself. No, what you do is you use different techniques. With a woman who's attacking you, you try to use like parrying and then restraining. If a guy attacks you, you just try and knock them the F out.
Yeah, but I've been with women that boil water and sharpen knives when I try to sleep, and that's not cool.
Yeah, it's not cool.
Oh yeah, no, I've been with some real crazy bitches too. Yeah, I know what you mean.
I do.
Shit.
I do have to.
The most dangerous tool that a woman has. Here, DK, this is the most dangerous tool a woman has. Her phone that can call a lawyer.
Oh yeah.
A pair of scissors that can cut your dick off.
Well, that too. That actually is.
Who was that? Hey, do you know what's really crazy? What was that name? Bobbit.
Oh, God.
Who was killed? Hey, who was shot on January 6th? Babbit.
It's not really that positive.
Let's hear it for the people still listening to us in the Kick Chat. Miss Trash is Sonic Slasher X and the folks over in D-Live, Svetlana, DK, who's still with us. Probably Davey, too.
I hope Davey's still here.
And a few others. Yeah, we still got a few others over there.
I hope Davey's still here. I have to go slap him if he's not.
No.
Is that your son?
I'm good mates with Davey. No, seriously, I'm good mates with Davey. I have to go slap him if he's not still here.
I've had...
He's in America, so I'm going to have to paddle over.
Even with all the issues I've had tonight, we had a good stream, good shows tonight. I'm looking forward to, editing and, and getting this up and out. For those who missed, that can re-listen to where we're not talking in the breaks, but you can hear some cool music and break stuff in the breaks.
I'm a dick.
I
recorded it all on Telegram. Everyone will be able to hear the breaks.
I want to also apologize to you about censorship sucks. I forgot to put the charger in place before the stream.
Mark Edward is like,
did you hear me?
Fuck.
Yeah, I can hear you, but it's kind of hard to hear over DK.
I know.
Yeah.
But I ended up getting the whole show in its entirety for the first part. The second half, I ended up having the part of the beginning not come in, but the rest of it is up and going, and I apologize for messing up. I've been having to use a charger on my router, and it was getting ready to go out, and I had to switch it over, and I'll make sure that doesn't happen next time.
I did.
Well, folks out there,
I did the same
Friday I will have a show with Jack, because Debbie Perkins is going to be interviewing Jack Carey this Friday between 3 and 4 Eastern time. So if you show up about a half hour before, and I'm sure with Jack, there's going to be a little bit of an after show. Unlike some of the other shows with Debbie, because Jack is one of the hosts with me. He was on earlier tonight. And I hope you all can tune into that as well. And then Censorship Sucks on Sunday.
Damn it, that's like 8 in the morning for me on Saturday.
You can do it. It's just like getting ready for work.
I don't even get up that early on work days.
Well, I'll plan on you restreaming it for us.
What is the deal with you guys over there? It's like Mr. Robot's the same way. He's like 5 in the morning. What? That's so early. I'm like, dude.
Dude, I'm in New Zealand. We're the first time zone. We're shitloads ahead of you.
Well, I mean, it's still the same thing.
It's like 16 hours or something different.
He bitches because
standard time.
Mr. Robot bitches because he's got to freaking be up at like 10 a.m.
I'm just saying you're
shit.
A dick, and I'm not gonna probably be up that early.
You guys are like surfer dudes and shit, all hanging out on the beach and fucking being all cool, talking to the chicks. And...
I used to be when I was younger. Then I started selling drugs, and I got more chicks.
Yeah, that's what.
Les is over there in D-Live as well. Sorry, folks, I minimized the chat.
Hey, Liz, bro, how you going, man?
So
as I said,
DT Mothersucker.
I posted your link on my D-Live channel. I said it works better than hosting. People seem to be angry about it. But it works better than hosting. All you do is you grab someone else's link, you put the link in your channel, and you play their channel. More people will join that channel than if you ever host. Have you ever clicked on one of the people who's live now, like the people you're following? Have you ever gone, nah, I don't like any of them. I'll click on someone who's hosting.
Yeah,
I broke their algorithm.
I like the D-Live host thing because I actually kill OBS completely, so I can do my editing during that time. So otherwise, it would screw everything up. But it's very helpful. So,
oh, shit. Hang on, I'm getting a phone call.
For transitioning, but then, it may take me a couple hours later, and then I'll be back up and running again.
Well,
because once I am done with editing, then I, come back and bring the stream back up online again. We only have about probably 10 more minutes before this call will end.
Now, Svetlana called it out and said exactly what freaking needed to be said about the Tree of Life, and she hit it right on the nose. She said that the Tree of Life got stolen as a Kabbalistic symbol. She was right. That hit it right on the nose. So good job, Svetlana. She's pretty educated, you can tell.
We should have her on sometime with Nancy and Vicky.
She said she'd be willing to come on and tell her story.
That'd be kind of cool too.
I was actually inspired by that because freaking I went and I did some research on it, and like the people that she said that she was descended from Russia, they're like freaking hot nudist Russian chicks.
Oh my God, Roger! I knew that was where you were going.
I mean, dude, you know what I'm trying to say? It's like you can't.
Yeah, dude.
You can't beat that.
No, you can't. Can you?
So,
jeez, Roger.
It's gotta be all or nothing, baby, all or nothing.
And with that, I think we've all had enough for tonight. What do you guys think?
I think so. I think so.
I've been exhausted.
All right. Well, I'm gonna take and start shutting down, folks. If you are on Kick, head over and give our friend the Great Conspiracy a big hand and help him in there. So stick around, say hi, drop a bunch of emotes on his ass, and he loves that. I do too. And if you're in the D Live chat, we're going to be migrating over to that's right, DK Conspiracies chat. So with that, I'm going to host out and do that right now.
Cool.
There we go. And stop and stream. There we go. Oh, what a night. What a night.
Okay, I got them all done on my end too.